to play Dean then. Now, our one-shots that you've all been playing in and or viewing over the last few months since the start of the year, this is the map that you've mostly seen. And our campaign is set 50 years later roughly 50 years later than all the one-shots that we've been playing. And it has been a time of some turmoil and unrest in Pleiadian, to say the very least. In those 50 years, about 20 years after the one-shots, there began a massive war, a barbaric and bloody war between the dominating elf population of Pleiadian in their capital city of Elisandria and the invading human-led forces from the eastern continent of Ravenmark. This war lasted for about 4 years, and ultimately the Elven King Galanil was overthrown, and he and the remnant of his forces and family and many other elves were forced ultimately to flee to Velaryon in the north. In the midst of the war, and I'll put the post-war map on screen in just a second, you'll see that there has been much change, including the change of the names of several locations. Elisandria being renamed as Ninespire, Havarie and Hulon being renamed as Ravenport and Loom, respectively. Additionally, elven strongholds of Imanserine, Daris, and Soluvion on Teardrop Isle were destroyed altogether. Sadly, especially for you, well, Phil and Yero, you've both been there, but Yero with a different character. So in particular, Phil, your character, very sadly, North Road Abbey was also destroyed as a result of the war.
Oh my, okay. All right.
So that's very sad. So that's kind of where we are. This human dominant population, having thrown down the Elven King and forced him to flee to Velaryon in the north, have instead established a senate. And there are senators from many of the larger towns and cities in the land of Pleiadian. And our campaign picks up 24 years after the conclusion of that war. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else of note to make mention of. The dwarves continue to occupy Iron Glen in the northwest and have begun to erect the Emerald Gate, which is intended as a large fortress to kind of protect that land from any potential invasion. Alabaster, where we've been on a one shot before, still seems to operate more or less independently. Ditto for Pagona's Rest in the southwest, and the Splash on Teardrop Isle. Holt's Harbour is a new city that has been established, that is in the process of being built following the war by the human forces. So that's a brief overview of catching you up from where you would have, anyone who's watched one of our one-shots would have last seen the land. So it's under new management. And in all honesty, to many of the towns and cities, certainly outside of the capital and some of the larger towns and cities, their day-to-day lives may not have been affected that much by the war. It may amount to a great deal more than a change in management. Everyone would certainly be aware of it, but they may find you may find that people, as you go along, have no real preference for the Elven King compared to the Senate that now rules over the land. So obviously some will have different feelings on this topic one way or the other, but it's not necessarily the case that everybody is furious or delighted with the change. Our adventure begins in the central market town of Oakenford Crossroads. Oakenford Crossroads, having been established due to its very convenient, advantageous position, sitting as it does at the crossroads, as it were, between Velaryon as it's now known, Ninespire, previously Elisandria, the port city of Ravenport, and Iron Glen. As such, it's been able to thrive with traders coming from far and wide to sell on and to pick up goods as well, of course, to take back to their own lands. And our adventure today begins where all great adventures surely begin. Let me find a bit of new music that's a little more something. Let's try this on for size.
Say the line, Martin.
Wait, which line?
You'll probably say it.
This is fine.
In a tavern?
In a tavern. No, of course, adventure begins where all great adventures, and indeed all great D&D sessions begin, which is in a hospital...
Twitch.tv/now and then 64. Sorry.
In a hospital waiting room.
Okay.
Where we see a creature sitting on his own in this small waiting room. A bird-like creature of sorts, and as they sit there, they look around. They look at a little table next to the chair they're sitting in. It has many pamphlets and other reading materials that are all 18 months old. There's Smith's Digest and Aarakocra Monthly and so on. Sit on the table, and as he kind of thumbs through them to see if there's anything of interest, the door opens and an orcish doctor steps through the door. You can see he's wearing a kind of just normal clothes, with the exception of a very, very nice white coat, and he's holding a little clipboard with some papers, and has a quill in his hand. And he goes, "Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm afraid I don't have a note of your name." And this bird-like creature looks back and says,
I'm all right.
"What? Oh, I need to sort out your camera, Yaro. Jesus Christ! Hold on a second. let's
He's a little guy.
2 seconds. That's what I get. That's what I get for not fucking testing this before. Jesus.
He's so short.
There we go. There. That's more like it. Might have to do a bit of surgery on you as well, Budger, when we get to you. I already sorted Phil out before stream, but we'll see how we go. So, sorry, Yarrow, he says what?
I'm all right.
Well, if you're all right, I'm not really sure why you've come to the hospital. Is there something I can help you with? What's your name?
I'm all right. My name is all right.
Well, your name's absolutely fine, no matter what it is. But you've come to a. You know what? Just come on through. There's obviously something wrong with him. Come with me, please. And as this orcish fellow leads you down a corridor and says, "I'm Dr. Cobean. Welcome to the Sacred Wildheart facility here in Oakenford. It's your first time here?"
Yes, it's my first time here.
Oh, very good. Well, don't be alarmed. And as he says, don't be alarmed. You kind of, as you're walking down this corridor, there's a door on the right-hand side that has a chain wrapped around the handles, it's kind of holding it shut, and the door's sort of like being buffeted by something on the other side quite aggressly. And he's like, don't worry about that. That's all. Nothing to be concerned about. And he leads you down the hallway and brings you into a consultation room. And he points to a chair. He says, Please, take a seat, won't you? We'll just put you down as Mr. Smith for the time being. And gestures towards a chair.
I take seat in. I sit in the chair and try to take in the room without moving the body like owls do. So my head turns 240 degrees one side and 240 degrees other side.
Splendid. I probably, yeah, in fact, I've skipped over a step really. Why don't you, Yero, tell us a little bit about the physical properties of our friend Owlright?
Well, Allright is an owlin, and an owlin is based off an owl. So it has the feathers, it has the head that can turn, the big eyes, and yeah, he's dressed plainly. He's dressed like an adventurer to travel around the world, and yeah, currently he's searching for people to help him because he thinks he has a medical need.
Okay. We will return to this as Owlright takes a seat, and Dr. Cobean sits down at a nearby chair at a desk, and puts his his papers down, and he says, "Well, let's get started, shall we?" But we will return to that scene momentarily. First, let's go and firstly see what's going on with Budge's camera and how much I have to change that around, which plainly the answer is a bit. So let me just do that really quickly while we're doing that. And while we're doing that, perhaps, Budgie, you could tell us a little bit about the physical properties of your character, who is, as we speak, approaching Oakenford on foot and coming towards the east gate. And what they see is a perimeter wall for this town, and a gatehouse manned by a couple of guards.
Okay, so Thorn is tall and big, Viking-like. He's a bit old.
You've just made Yero as a character, is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Big beard.
And I think the most eye-catching thing of him is that he misses part of his right arm, but he has like a crabbing hook on it, so he
Ooh.
can still use it a bit. And yeah, he's very tall, so you cannot like miss him, basically.
Yep. Good. Well, as Thorn approaches the east gate of the Oakenford crossroads, one guard, seeing Thorn walking up the path, kind of nudges his fellow guard and kind of like gestures and as you approach, he holds up a hand, not with any anger or anything, but he says, "Hail, friend! What business have you in Oakenford?"
I'm just a traveler, in search for a place to sleep for the next couple of days.
Hearing your voice, the guard kind of almost does a bit of a double take and looks at you with a bit more focus and says, "Where's that accent from?"
From Jin.
"From Jin? Long ways from here."
Yeah, it definitely is, but I did travel farther away than this.
All right. Well, are you a trader? Are you here to sell or buy?
Depends on how you see it.
He sort of nods slowly and goes, "Very well. Well, I'm Lieutenant Bragg. Welcome to Oakenford. Just try and stay out of trouble." He opens the
I
door.
will try to do that.
He opens the door. Yeah, I wonder if you'll manage that. He opens the door and gestures for you to pass through freely into Oakenford. As you step through, you see the town of Oakenford Crossroads open out in front of you, and as you come through the east gate, the thing that's noticeable is on your left-hand side. There is a number of buildings that look quite ornate and opulent, quite clearly rich houses on your away to your left-hand side. The nearest building to you is looks like some kind of. It's a larger building. It doesn't look like a residential. It doesn't look like someone's home. It looks like maybe some kind of. It's not a tavern though. It's like a club, and actually a sign outside identifies it as something called the Speculators Club. As you walk, you actually see Sacred Wild Heart Hospital on your right as well, and ahead of you there is clearly a large market happening in the centre, some way off in front of you. And while you think about where you might want to go, we will return to this scene shortly while we go and check in with having met someone, a couple of characters arriving in Oakenford for the first time. We will go and see somebody who has visited many times and say a warm welcome back to Jeb, whose full name, Phil, is what?
Oh, well, friend, my name is Jebediah, or excuse me, Caldwell Jebediah Bilius Persephone Prin. Everyone calls me Jeb. How you doing?
Everyone calls him Jeb. Now, Jeb is older and potentially wiser than the last time we met him.
That's right. Definitely older. Depends on who you talk to. Tell you I'm wise though.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back to Jeb. And Jeb is a regular visitor to Oakenford, being as he is a purveyor of the primary export of the Holler up in the north of Playdene, which is of course Tormist, which we've briefly seen.
Indeed.
We briefly saw in action 50 years ago, and that has continued to be a popular beverage throughout the land, and perhaps has grown in notoriety for all we know.
Indeed.
As part of your deliveries, Jeb, you arrive at the Gilded Bear. And this tavern exists on the southeastern side of Oakenford, not too far away actually from where Thorn currently is. And so, as Thorn observed a moment ago, you can see some very well-to-do houses and some other buildings that certainly signify some wealth in the area. And indeed, the Gilded Bear itself is a quite nicely appropriated building as well. Certainly not your kind of rough and tumble, spit and sawdust dive bar type tavern. It's it has something about it in that sense. And what quantities do we think Tormist is delivered in? Is it going to be multiple small bottles, or do you deliver it in a barrel? What's the easiest way for you to transport Tormist, do you think?
Well, I reckon if I were to find a good buyer, I'd be shipping it in barrels. I'd probably have some samples on hand, I reckon, in some smaller vessels. potentially just like kind of like a whiskey bottle or something like that. And then if the product is right and people enjoy it, then yeah, we'll get a proper shipment in from the Holler brand on down.
Okay. All right. So you're arriving with just. Well, I mean, this is perhaps somewhere that you've made multiple deliveries to the Gilded Bear. Would you be delivering a larger shipment or what do you think is the story here?
So I think today, yeah, I'd probably come in with a bit of a wagon drawn by, I'd reckon, like a little donkey.
A little donkey in a wagon. Perfect.
That seems about fitting for Jeb, I reckon. Just coming on into town like this, you got to come prepared, make sure you got the product for the buyer.
Good.
But yeah, I'd keep samples on hand. Jeb, to quickly describe myself, he's got a wide brim straw hat, kind of like a heavy set coat, but all over himself, down his arm, down his legs, on the sides, and satchels and slung with all kinds of bottles and vials, and he kind of clinks and clanks as he walks around. And a lot of that is to just be like, "Would you like some, friend? Give it a try." So
Perfect.
yes, he keeps some on hand just in case.
Hopefully, doesn't give too much away though. You've got to protect that profit margin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
As Jeb enters the Gilded Bear, he walks in. It's kind of mid morning, around sort of 10 a.m. kind of mark, 10 to 11, and so the Gilded Bear is not busy at this time. And as Jeb enters, you overhear the tail end of a kind of heated, but not angry, but sort of a strong debate between two figures. One of which you know very well. One of them is Greg Gannon, the innkeeper at the Gilded Bear, and a woman who is clearly a client. Greg Gannon is, of course, as you well know, Jeb, a wood elf who runs the Gilded Bear, and he is in this discussion with a woman. And as you enter the door, you hear him say, "Look, Mrs. Hempel, I am not disputing that you saw something in the sky last night. I am telling you it could not have been the Southern Star. And I'm telling you, I know what I saw. The Southern Star was the brightest I'd ever seen it last night." He holds up his hands and goes, "All right, Mrs. Hempel, if you say you saw the Southern Star, I do not have it in me to dispute with you any further. We will just simply have to agree to disagree." And at this moment, he clocks Jeb coming in and is like, and says, "Oh, finally, Jeb, get me out of this conversation, please. Hello, my friend. Has it been a year already?"
Oh, Mr. Ganner, it's such a pleasure to see you. I will take my hat off because I'm a gentleman in swords.
Of course.
and offer a warm hand. I say, it's always so nice to see you. I guess it has been a year. Time flies, doesn't it?
It does. It does. How are things in the Holler? I must get up there and visit sometime.
Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well. You know how we keep ourselves up there. Weather's been nice. Product's been good. We just, yeah. Had a brood of little ones running around causing all kind of mayhem. You know how it is around there. We'll have to have you up sometime. It'd be wonderful. It'd be nice.
If I could get away from here for more than a day, I would happily visit. But I have to say, I think it's unlikely, unfortunately, anytime soon. But
I reckon you keep a crowded house.
Your arrival couldn't be isn't a moment. I have to admit, I was getting nervous a few days ago. We had a group in here with something to celebrate, and they were hitting the Tormis pretty hard, and that our supplies are running a little low. So I'm glad you're here. Barrel's out the front, is it?
Oh yes, sir. That's right. Yeah, it sounded like you had somebody giving stuff back they didn't even steal, or maybe stealing some stuff they ought to give back. I reckon.
Well, he says, "Well, we've always got something going on around here, but
Yes, sir.
He goes, all right. Well, let's go before the powers that be decide we've fallen foul of some regulation or other. I won't ever get used to the new management really, but we do what we can. We move forward, don't we? Eh? It's just another day in the life in beautiful old Playdene. Let's get that barrel.
Yes, sir.
Let's get that barrel in. You give me a hand with it, will you?
I got you. And I throw an arm around his shoulder as we kind of walk out.
Returning then to, and in fact, now that we've met all our characters, I think we can now afford to go over to the screen where all of you are. And additionally, I can do something which is put your character cards up on screen as well, which look like this.
All right.
And they'll be running through our minds as we go along. Let's return then to the sacred Wild Heart Hospital, where Dr. Cobean is sitting in consultation with Alright and says, "Well, I assume you've come to see me because of my reputation of dealing with slightly unusual cases. So, Mr. Smith, what seems to be the problem?"
It's Mr. Wright, but that's fine. Well, I keep hearing voices, and that's quite disturbing.
Hearing voices, yes. Terrible business.
Yes, like. Do you know a Mr. Stevens?
Mr.
He
Stevens.
said you helped him.
Oh, Mr. Yes, of course, down in Pergona's Rest.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, we go back years and years. He sent you to me, did he?
Well, he's with us now. He says.
He's with us now.
Yeah, he says he's behind you.
Come to think of it, didn't old Stevens pass away last year?
Yeah. He enjoyed. He says he enjoyed the funeral.
I see. He's kind of frantically scribbling notes with a quill on some parchment, and he sort of pauses. And so you're hearing the voice of old Stevens now, are you?
Yes.
And how long has this been going on?
Well, let me think. Well, I already heard voices when I was young.
Yeah, so often these things can stem from childhood. Often it's a psychological issue. But you said that this has been happening your entire life then?
Yeah.
Wow.
And even when I was helping my mother with her business, it came back. Went away for a while, and then it came back.
And your mother's business, what business is that?
Oh, she's a healer.
A healer. Couldn't heal you though?
No.
Awful.
Oh. Well, they tried to help, but wasn't the fun kind of help.
Not the fun. Well,
you see, my mother's a healer, and my father's a cleric, and he thought he could help me with something called an exorcism or something.
exorcisms are nasty business, dangerous business too, if done incorrectly. When was that? Did you have the exorcism or?
No. When they talked about an exorcism, I fled home.
Well, the first thing to probably let you know is there is such a thing as doctor-patient confidentiality, so you have nothing to fear. Your presence here will remain a guarded secret with me. And he says, so, and how often you hear voices, and do any of the people that you hear, they have anything in common?
Well, they're all dead. That's the thing they have in common. And I talk to them. They tell me things about the countryside and sometimes about their life.
Yes. Yeah. I see. All right. Well, I will need to consult my research to see what can be done. I hope it's not too uncomfortable for you right at this second. You're still hearing old Stevens in your head at the moment, are you?
Yeah, but he says he has to go in a few.
Oh. Before he does, ask him if he remembers the time that we fell into the nest of cockatrices. And no, actually, don't worry, forget it. No, forget that story. That doesn't matter now. Oh, no, memories. Yes. Well, look, I will see what I have on in my records. I seem to recall somebody coming in here once upon a time with a similar complaint, and you'll have to forgive me. This was some years ago, and I pre-war, I think, and yeah, it's definitely before the war. I forget how we resolved it. I will consult my notes. In the meantime, I hope that you will enjoy your staying at the in Oakenford, and come back in 2 days, and I'll let you know what I've been able to find out.
Sure, I'll do that.
Marvelous, and take this on your way out. And he reaches into a jar and pulls out essentially a lollipop and hands it to you. I think at this stage it's probably an appropriate time for me to put up the town map of Oakenford, as you're all now certainly established within it. And if you need me to, I appreciate this might be quite small for some of you, so if you need any guidance or anything, but just to kind of put you in position. The East Gate is the little blue building on that kind of northeast corner that hopefully you can see. The red squared building just inside it is indeed the Sacred Wild Heart Hospital, and there's the Speculators Club just south of that. So that kind of gives you the position of both Owl and Thorn. And the Gilded Bear you can hopefully see in yellow next to the gardens on the southeast side of the town. Back to Thorn then, and Thorn, what you had obviously just entered, you can kind of see peering through the buildings. In front of you at the moment, there's a bunch of kind of yards and look like businesses. There's a craftsmen and the like that deal in this area as well. And then further through, you can see peering through the buildings a large market area in the centre. Have you any particular desire to go in any direction in particular? I can't hear you, Budger. I think you're muted.
Sorry.
Is
Is it like busy on the market? Is it like a market day, or is it just the space where the market would be on the market day?
In Oakenford, every day is market day, so it
Okay.
is starting to get busier. It's mid-morning, so definitely would be pretty bustling.
Okay. I would love to go to the markets.
Okay. As you move through the streets, as I say, on your right hand side, you see a number of craftsmen. There's a smith and a carpenter, and so on. But because of Oakenford's position, it is a place where people come every single day for trade. There are always people coming in and out of Oakenford to either and as Jeb is doing, to sell their wares, hopefully in bulk. And they'll be like wholesalers. So there'll probably be somebody here that Jeb has perhaps already met with to sell on some Tor Mist, who would then take it themselves down to Ninespire or to Loom or to Ravenport or wherever it is, to then distribute more locally themselves. So there's a lot of like wholesalers and distributors, as well as kind of your more standard day-to-day traders, if you like. So there's definitely people dealing in commodities as well as daily goods. On your left-hand side, as you move through the streets, you see a large stables as well. You can see some horses out in a paddock, and some that are kind of being housed in a barn. But as this opens up in front of you, you arrive at the square of Oakenford, and you're just surrounded on all sides by noise. That's the perhaps the most notable thing. It's just the sound of people calling out what they want, people calling out what it is they're selling. Over to your right in the north of the town, it's just a small fort, which is called Griffin Keep. And you can see that Griffin Keep must have been built fairly recently. It's not weathered in the way that like an older fort would be. And then to your left, heading south, the buildings that way towards the south, and certainly the south and the west, are considerably less ornate than those on the southeast corner. And there's a wide road that leads down to the south entrance of the town. As you make your way through the through the market or into the market area, the first thing that you spot is or that's nearby is a smithing stand. And another wood elf actually cries out to you and says, "Armor and weapons!" And spotting you, this figure almost leaps to you and, staring at Thorn's arm, is just overcome with some just awe and is like, and he goes, "My goodness, what is that? That is beautiful." And he says, "Could I touch it? Would you mind?"
If you touch this one, you will definitely touch my other one, and you don't want that.
Is that all right? I meant no offense. He says, I don't recall seeing you before. Are you new in Oakenford?"
Just a traveler.
"Traveller, perfect. Prime clientele." He says, "Come, look." He says, "Oh, where are my manners?" He says, "My name is Tinflint, Xavier Tinflint." And he extends a hand. Now, he extends his right hand for a handshake. Now, what does that look like to Thorn? It's Thorn's right arm that is replaced with something of a prosthetic, correct?
Yeah, it is his right arm. So, he's not shaking hands at all.
Xavier.
So he just ignores the hand.
Xavier kind of like holds his hand for a couple of seconds and then sort of realizes he might have made a bit of a faux pas and draws his hand back. It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he extends his left hand instead for a handshake.
Thorn gives him like a low high five to the
Okay,
hand.
just like, taps it. Okay. Xavier kind of like looks at his own hand in a bit of confusion and just like, okay. He goes, "Well, you are in the right place. If you're traveling through Playdeen, you obviously have some armor. If you need more, a replacement or repairs, I specialize in steel and bronze, though we do have some other materials come through occasionally." He says, "Are you looking for anything in particular?"
What other materials are we talking about?
Well, from time to time we get folded steel, which is of course a little tougher. Although I don't think we've got any in stock right this second. Though I could have something made up. We get things in. We do deal a little in silver and gold, but they're not a suit. They're more for decorative armors for special occasions more than for functional. But if you're ever attending some kind of state event or something of the like, they may be of use. He says, and of course palladium we get in sometimes, but again, I must admit we're a little low on that currently. Awaiting a delivery, you know. As he's kind of trying to show you his wares, a young man emerges from the direction of where the actual smithing business was, and he's a kind of a young man of perhaps his early 20s, wearing a black apron, and he's got kind of like, he's certainly been at work. You know, his face is kind of has like smudges of coal and things like that on it. And the other notable thing about this guy is he uses a wooden crutch to walk, and so he kind of hobbles into view, and goes. And Tinflint, the trader, says, the smith says, Adam, where have you been? I sent you to make a very fast delivery 2 hours ago. How could you possibly have got lost coming back? And this young man says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I made that delivery to Mr. Gorham as you asked, and he just wouldn't let me go. He kept talking to me, sir. I'm very sorry." Yes, well, we have more deliveries to make, and you, the way you are, we're only able to make one at a time. We can't really deliver in bulk. So get this next one moving. He says, this one's up to Griffin Keep. And he kind of reaches under his table and pulls out a covered box, no knowledge of what's inside it, and hands it to this boy. He says, who was identified as Adam. Adam really struggles like holding this box. It needs two hands, so he's got to sort of somehow wangle this with his crutch as well. It's not an easy job. He goes, he sort of looks down at this box, and it seems to be sort of contemplating how he's going to get this to the keep easily, and says, would it not be more sensible, sir, if I were to make the smaller delivery to Miss Bounders first? I don't really care which order they're done in, Adam. They just need to be done today. So Adam puts this box down and picks up a satchel instead, which he's able to kind of sling over his back. It's a bit more convenient for him. He says, I'll be back as soon as I can, Mr. Tinflint. And he heads off in the opposite direction to the keep, towards the southeast corner of the city, with this delivery. Turning back to Thorn, Tinflint is like, sorry about that. He's a good lad, really, but oh my goodness, everything you want done, you have to ask twice, and it never seems to run as smooth as you think it will. Now, where were we? Was there something I could get for you?
Because you're low on folded steel and palladium, I don't think you have something I am interested in, so...
Alright, well, this is where you can find me. Most of the day, in the evenings, I go back to my workshop and work, but if there's something you need urgently, you can find me there. And he gestures back over towards where the craftsman's stations would be. He takes one last look.
Remember that.
He takes one last look at Thorn's arm and sort of shakes his head, just like, oh, magnificent. And yes, returning then to the Gilded Bear, where Jeb and Greg Gannon have just brought in a barrel of Tormist for Greg to store in his cellar. He says, so will you be staying long, or are you heading straight back to the Hollow? Are you going back today, tomorrow?
Yeah, I reckon I might have a little bit of an extended stay. I'm also kind of looking for like maybe some new products. I'm wondering if I can maybe find a connection for a little something I heard of called Digo.
Oh, Digo.
Yeah. You
Well,
heard of it? You know of it?
I know of it. Yeah. What's it for?
Well, I've heard tell that it's pretty potent for some alchemical pursuits. Thought I might get a hand on and give it a try, see what I can put toward it. Seems like it'd make something pretty strong.
I didn't know it was used that way, but well, if you can make something half as good as Tormist with it, we'll both be onto a winner, won't we?
I reckon we might be. You got to keep it away from the party animals now, though. I'm telling you. I keep telling you, it don't take much. You need to shorten that serving size, my friend.
Well, look, the clientele we get in here have certain expectations. I wish they would all go and fall down a hole somewhere, but then of course I'd be out of business, wouldn't I? But
Yeah, I reckon we both would.
so at the moment I have to sell it in the quantities we do, but hey, if there's something new, that's coming onto the market, well, we can make that decision together, can't we?
Well, you've been a good friend to me for a long time now, and so Greg, first chance I get something new, it's coming to you first, pal.
I appreciate that.
You'll be the
Now, honestly, I don't know anything about Digo. What I suggest, though, anything to do with plants and herbs and anything along that kind of line, the person you want to speak to is Holo Flinders. Who's
Holo Flanders. All right.
you can't miss him. He'll be out on the market right now. Just tell him I sent you, and if anyone knows in Oakenford how anything about Digo, then that's the person to speak to. He's a halfling, so do sort of. I mean, actually, for you, I suppose you'll be able to see eye to eye, as it were.
Hey, all right. Yeah, I'll keep my head down.
Yeah, you're a good one, Jeb. He's like, listen, I'll see you next time. I'll send a falcon when we need a new shipment. But listen, if I don't see you, safe travels, and well, pop in later on if you're sticking around for a day or two. And I suppose if I offer you a Tormist, it might be a bit of a wagonman's holiday, mightn't it?
Oh, friend, yeah, I'll darken your doorstep any old time. And Greg, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Always have been. Thank you.
All right. So he returns to the bar where Miss Hempel has not given up the ghost at all, and is like, and as you exit, you just hear her saying, "Now I'm telling you, Greg Gannon, you wouldn't know the Southern Star if it jumped up and bit you in the nose." He's like, "I've seen the Southern Star every night for the past 62 years. I think I know what it looks like." And you hear the door closes behind you, Jeb, as you presumably make your way to the market square.
Point of order. Do I know anything about the Southern Star? Is this something that I would have some kind of knowledge of?
Yeah, I think so. The Southern Star is a bit similar to the North Star. It is just a bright star that people often use for guidance. But there's nothing particularly notable about it beyond that.
Okay, because it's a little bit the fact that she's so insistent that she's seen it, and Greg is kind of arguing that that's ridiculous is a little bit curious. I think I'm wondering if that would be curious to Jeb as well.
If you want to ask a question about it, feel free.
I think I do. So, what would the significance of seeing it be? Like, what would that portend? Some omen, or what is it? What is it normally associated with?
Give me a history check.
Sure, I would love to.
Our first roll of the game, finally.
Yes. All right, so it's a +3 to my history.
It's taken too long to get to that.
Let's get this party started. Open a nat 20.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. All right.
So as you were about to exit, you kind of overhear this, and noting in Miss Hempel's voice some insistence that she did indeed see the Southern Star, despite Greg Gannon's protestations. You're intrigued by how insistent she is about that, I guess. And yeah, I mean, what a way to kick us off! A fucking nat 20. I'll tell you what, if you keep on like this theme, this will be a very short adventure, and a boring one. So don't. So what do you want to ask her, or them? Sorry, actually, so on a nat 20, there is. You are aware of the Southern Star. As someone who travels a lot in Playdean, you yourself have used the Southern Star for guidance. You have never seen the Southern Star shine in a so bright that it would be worth remarking upon. So the fact that she's insistent she saw it, it seems strange. You're not aware of any omens or anything like that relating to that. So there's no kind of sign that it's something. You're not aware that brings on the impending apocalypse or anything like that.
Okay. Well, before I leave, as she kind of starts back again, I think I will kind of just turn a bit, and I would have kind of chuckled when Greg mentioned stars jumping out and biting. You'd have been like, stars jumping and biting. Who'd have seen it? Who'd have thunk it? But then when I hear her being so insistent, I want to say, now hang on now. I don't mean to intervene in y'all's conversation, but allow me to introduce myself. Mrs. Hempel, was it? My name's Caldwell Jebediah Bilius Persephone Prim. You can call me Jeb. All my friends call me Jeb. But what is this such a concern to you for now?
She looks absolutely bewildered by this introduction and the name. And she goes, well, I'm just saying I've seen it is all. And it was, I don't know, bright. It was beautiful, actually.
Now, Greg, why is this such a bee in your bonnet, friend?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not disputing that she saw something in the sky. I'm just saying it wasn't the Southern Star. The Southern Star has maintained a constant brightness, more or less in my eyes, for the entire time I've lived. So I don't dispute for a second that there was something in the sky. I'm just saying it was probably a wizard's spell or, something just run-of-the-mill like that. I don't see any reason to suppose that it was the Southern Star. Now, what it was, I'm sure I don't know. But I have bigger concerns than something that our dear Miss Hempel, lover as we do, saw in the night sky yesterday. It's just not a concern to me whatsoever. It seems to be much more important to her.
And I'll just kind of laugh and be like, all right, well, seems y'all have this well under control. Miss Hempel, you keep on star watching now. And Greg, be a little more open to the possibilities. There's a big wide world out there, and I'm just a little rat, but
Yeah.
all kind of mysteries and wonders never cease, friend.
I've got plenty on my plate with the big wide world of Oakenford. Thank you very much. But listen, Jeb, see you soon.
All right then. Y'all be good now. And I'll kind of put my hat on, and I will this time, like, kind of turn on my heel and scamper out the door.
Great. So you're on your way to see Holo Flinders.
Yes.
Owl, you had concluded a brief consultation with Dr. Cobean, who is going to take a look and has asked you to return in 2 days to see what he's been able to find out about your condition. What do you want to do in the meantime?
Well, seeing as I have 2 days to fill, I think I'll mainly try to first find a place to sleep. So I guess I'll be seeing. I'll first ask around if there's a tavern nearby where I can book a bed and a room.
Okay, so you just want to flag down a nearby person of any sorts, yeah?
Maybe even a guard, someone that's.
Well, you're right near the East Gate, actually. So Lieutenant Bragg, who Thorn met on the way in, is stationed there with another guard. So certainly you're welcome to approach them.
yeah, I guess I'll approach him then.
Hmm.
Sorry, sir.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for a place to sleep.
Well, how much do you have
Do
to
you-
spend?
So I have to spend because there's a difference.
Well, rooms at the Gilded Bear tend to be substantially more expensive than they are at Polkirk's.
Oh, well, I don't have much, so I think that means Volker.
Just go straight. And he gestures towards the middle of town. He goes, "You'll have to cut through the market and then cut through the park on the southern side, and that'll bring you out more or less at Polkirk's. It's
As he's pointing, I'll turn my head towards where he's pointing. So over there, you mean?
he's he's seen an owlin before. He's not shocked by this. He's like, yes, that way, and then just take a slight southwest bend, and that should bring you to Polkirk's. It's what's the word we'd use? Quaint, I suppose, but they do have beds. I'm certain you'll find something.
Okay. Thank you.
So, as you make your way through the town, you overhear a couple of people, just the things that people talk about, moaning about the weather. It's it's quite cloudy day, so it's like, I wish we had more sun, all this kind of thing. As you're who was my guy? Oh yes. As you arrive at the market, you walk straight past the smithing store, and unbeknownst to you, walk right past Thorn, who is currently in Congress with is just finishing up their chat with Xavier Tinflint. But someone else spots you and calling to you. It's like, "Yoo-hoo, Mr. Owl!"
Can
And
yes.
some distance away, you see a woman beckoning you over, and she's quite a sort of stout woman, very kind of. She's dressed in a way that would have been very fine and fashionable. Actually, give me a history check, Owl, please.
Ooh, 6.
Woof. On a 6, you think she looks extremely glamorous. In reality, those more in the know would probably think she looks rather dated. But to Owl's eyes, she looks very nicely decked out. You don't notice the slightly tattered, moth-eaten clothing that certainly was once fine. What you do notice is that she wears something like a shawl, and has a couple of like large dangling necklaces, and all of her fingers are decked out with rings. So she's certainly presenting the appearance of opulence, and whatnot. And she beckons you over, sees you, and says, she says, "Look at you! You are a marvel! Oh, come, please! What's your name, my darling?"
I'm all right.
"Yes, of course you are. And what's your name, my love?"
My name's all right.
"Yes. All right. Well, good.
That's it.
She goes, "Well, I'm Miss Dingleman, and I have wares that I would be delighted to show you, my darling. Silks, the finest silks from loom, of course. Though, if you still refer to it as Hulon, I hold no judgment here. I know it's hard getting used to things. Although you're a youngish fellow, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm quite young. I'm 25.
25. Well, maybe you never knew it as Hulon, but I'm afraid some of us, us ladies of a certain age, some of us remember it as Hulon when it was a marvellous place, but war or no war, it is still the finest exporter of silks in all the land. And I am blessed with, as you can see, a marvellous stock. And you see her stand that she gestures to, and sure enough, there are, various garments of extremely decorative silk, tunics with they've got gold inlay, the dark green silk with gold in the collar and stuff like that. I don't think I asked this, Yarrow. What's Alright's? What size is this being? I don't mean his clothes. I don't mean like double XL. I mean like how tall is he? Is he? What's the size of this guy?
He's smaller. Need to do math. Centimeter to. Let's see. I did about 5 foot.
About 5 foot. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So she's actually then a little bit taller than you. Not much. She's a short human, so she's about 5'2". So you guys are at a similar height to each other. She says, "I'm certain we'll have something in your size. I don't get me wrong. I love the outfit you're in. It's splendid. It's beautiful. It's marvelous. But what do you think about treating yourselves to something a little special?" She starts rifling through a rack of clothes and finds a pair of gloves, a pair of blue gloves. Like, these would be marvelous, wouldn't they?
But can I still play my pan flute with them?
Playing the flute with gloves on? Oh,
yeah.
Certainly, my darling. Of course you can. Yes. She's like, yes, of course you can play the pan flute with the gloves on, or any instrument really. They shouldn't interfere with that at all, my darling. Oh. She says, so we'll put you down for a pair, shall we?
How expensive is it?
Oh, darling. Silly, darling, don't be uncouth. Come on.
I don't have much money.
Yes, I see. Well, you seem like a lovely, talented, handsome young lad. It would be my delight to see you out and about wearing these splendid garments and perhaps doing a little bit of advertising. So, you know what? I don't do this for everybody. I will give you a heavy discount. And these gloves, you can walk away with those right now, my darling. 30 gold. And that's the finest deal you'll find anywhere in Playdean, I promise you.
30 gold? That's twice as much as I have.
I see. Oh, hello, darling. And she looks away to the other end of her stall where another potential customer appears to be looking at the wares. And you hear her go over and basically give them the exact same patter. She just completely fucking blanks you now. And walks over and goes, hello, my darling. Finest silks all the way from Loom, though if you still refer to it as Hulon, I don't judge, my dear. It is absolutely fine. I know it's hard to... Yeah, and you just hear her go on the exact same patter as you just heard with somebody new. Thorn, what have you been up to since you finished up with Xavier Tinflint?
Yeah, because he doesn't have anything that I'm interested in, and he said I could come back, so I probably will just walk around on the market
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's something that I'm interested in, or I hear something that's interesting to know.
The next stall along, you hear. Sorry, I'm just deciding on a voice. You hear, pelts, get your pelts, and a very sturdy gnomish woman. You see barking out. Wolf pelts, deer pelts, ox pelts, horse pelts, anything you want. Step right this way, my friends. Finest pelts from every corner of Playdene. What can we get for you? And seeing you pass by, says, "Oh, you, sir. You look like someone who would certainly benefit from some lovely animal pelts. What do you say?"
Thor looks at his clothes and is like, "Why? Those are fine."
Yes, of course. The finest.
No, I mean my own clothes. I don't need anything.
Oh, your clothes. Oh, well, if that's fine to you, my friend, then go about your business. I mean, you know, your mileage obviously varies from mine, but not of my business. I'm just here to, you know, sell my wares and bring them to the people. But if you're not interested, then please be on your way. Although, they say, although, if you do ever end up going north anytime, I dare say in colder climates these garments would serve you well.
I come from the northern country, so I don't need it. I'm used to it.
You're from the north. You're from where are you from? From Jin. I thought I detected
Yeah.
a little bit of that in your accent actually.
Yes,
Well,
from Jin, indeed.
our northern neighbours. How are things up in Jin these days?
Oh, we're doing good. Just
Yeah.
the normal business.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to travel there a little in my youth, actually. I've not been there for many a year. And just, you know, trying one last time, holds up a wolf pelt that would go around the shoulders, you know. Sure, I can't interest you? Don't even want to try it on?
No, thanks.
All right, well, very nice to meet one of our northern neighbours. I leave you in the grace and favour of the Raven God himself. In Corvus' name. And bows. As this is happening, so all three, the two of you are in the market, and Jeb, you're kind of down near the Gilded Bear, I believe, if I've kept track of everyone correctly.
Right.
Jeb, you're heading towards Holo Flinders to try and find this halfling who deals in potentially knows something about Digo.
Right, and Greg is also in the Crossroads Market, correct? Or Greg said that Holo was in the Crossroads Market?
Yes, Greg directed you
Okay.
to the market. He's certain that Holo would be there.
All right.
However, as you approach the market, you suddenly become aware of a sort of chattering, a bit of, not exactly commotion, but the unmistakable sound of people talking with concerned voices, and then one by one you notice people are looking skyward, as you do as well. Give me a perception check, Jeb.
Sure. So yeah, as I'm pushing my way through the crowd and I'm hearing, you know, pretty necklace for a pretty lady. Sugar dates.
Fresh
and
fish.
peas. Sugar dates and pistachios. Fresh fish. We catch them, you buy them. Yeah, I'll do a perception.
Owl and Thorn, you can also give me a perception check as well.
Oh, did I?
Oh my god. Another nat 20 for Jeb.
These dice are...
How?
They're saying no way.
Dice are
Dirty
loaded.
20.
Dirty 20.
They're saying no way. You must rig something.
Oh,
I ain't
And an
rigging
18.
shit.
Good rolls all round.
Yeah.
So I
Really
think
good rolls.
I think all of you essentially see the same thing, which and notice the same things about it. As you over in the marketplace, this commotion spreads very quickly. This chattering and as people notice other people looking up and pointing and stuff, you are all obliged to do the same. And what you see. I mentioned that it was a cloudy day, so the sun had not previously been visible to you, and looking at the clouds, you now notice like a bright spot on one of the clouds. It seems to you that there is something behind the cloud that is giving off a considerable amount of light. That let's change the mood of this music a little, and it's giving off a considerable amount of light from behind the cloud, and in fact, you notice that the source of this light, this light spot on the clouds, is growing. It was tiny when you looked up, but already you see that it is growing in size. As you continue looking at this, what should we do here? Everybody give me a nature check.
Yeah. Nature's very high. Let's see here.
Obviously, Phil, you're just going to roll a nat 20, so that's fine. A 19!
20.
A nat 20
Jeez,
for Owl, and a 19,
Wow.
and a 24 for thing. So I think Owl and Jeb, you notice something is moving, and having established that there is something behind the clouds that is giving off this light, it is either growing in size or it is getting closer. One of the two. Thorn, seeing this, and you've perhaps not established that quite so much, but you're clearly able to see this bright spot on the clouds. Thorn, what do you do? What do you think?
Oh, good question.
Now you're from another country. You're from quite far away. This this probably isn't something that you've seen before.
No, I think I would just ask people around, like, is it normal? Is it like, does this happen before?
So the closest person to you is, of course, the gnomish pelt trader, and she is looking up at the sky and looking extremely concerned, and she begins to kind of slowly gather her pelts and begins stacking them on a cart nearby, and she just looks concerned. She's not panicked, but like clearly thinks something is amiss. Jeb, what do you do?
Well, I'm concerned, but I'm also kind of cocking my head, trying to figure out what it is, and I'm saying, like, that ain't where a Southern Star should be.
Sure isn't.
can I perceive, like, with that nature check, can I perceive anything like around this light, like the shadow of wings or like some kind of like mechanical, like almost like it maybe an airship or something. Like I'm trying to see like what is creating this light.
Yeah, no, you can't see anything at all. There is a blanket of cloud with a bright spot that is getting bigger. It is essentially circular in shape, and it's almost like when the sun on a very bright but cloudy day, when you can see the sun through the clouds. That's kind of what it looks like to you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd be a bit awestruck and maybe get the sense that something's not good, and kind of maybe seeking out just kind of keeping an eye on somewhere I could maybe duck in if I need to kind of get cover.
Well,
My rodent instinct is to get underground, so I'm going to look for somewhere that I can like get out of the daylight.
Okay, makes sense. Well, you're surrounded by some houses. You're not too far from the Gilded Bear. Owl, you're in the marketplace as well, of course, as well as Thorn. This concern and chatter is getting more and more panicked, and a few seconds later, you hear someone give out a scream, and you come to understand why, as whatever it is emerges through the clouds. And now, Owl, give me another perception.
16.
Not bad. On a 16, you can make out that this is something travelling towards the ground and travelling towards Oakenford fast. What it is still not yet clear, but the light is being given off by the heat that it's generating from the velocity that it is travelling at. And as other people around you begin to see this as well, people begin to start moving fast. And traders on the market suddenly go into a panic and start gathering their wares as much as they can, start running off, just like carrying as much as they can in their arms back towards their workshops. People just begin scattering in all directions, and the more screams. People start popping their heads out their windows. From a nearby house, you see the head of a Loxodon pop out of a large of an upstairs window and stare intently up at the sky before ducking back in hurriedly into their window and closing the window again. Humans, elves, gnomes, halflings, everybody begins rushing around. There is now a lot of panic in the marketplace and the whole town, really.
Being as my parents both lived in the war, have I heard any stories about giant light sources coming towards Earth?
Give me a history roll,
Coming
please.
towards. 19. Thinking about being at a large boulder striking down or something.
You think back to your youth, and certainly your father had stories of all kinds of incidents from the war and even before it as well. Various attacks by different beings, but in all the stories that he mentioned, you don't recognize this as something he ever spoke about. This seems new. Typically, the things that he would speak about were, battles between warring tribes and different groups of individuals, and sometimes the occasional kind of mythical beast or something. You may have heard a couple of rumors of in those stories, and perhaps you were never quite sure if they were true or not. But this is new.
I'll duck and cover.
Okay, so this thing is hurtling fast. It's getting bigger. It's getting closer.
If I'm getting past the woman who tried to rip me off, I'm making sure she trips and falls.
Okay, so you what was her name? Dingleman. So Ms. Dingleman, you see her with a bag stuffed full of silks, and she comes running past you. So you're gonna stick out a leg to trip her up, right?
Yep.
Give me, what would it be? Unarmed attack? Let's do, yeah. Give me an attack roll. Let's do it.
+2.
Or maybe we'll do this as a grapple, I think. On a 13, okay. So you stick out a leg, and this woman about the same size hits your leg with her trailing foot, and kind of spins around and kind of goes flailing. And she looks, as she spins around, she looks and kind of looks at you with this face of just like offended shock, just like, oh, Silk, she clatters to the ground. Silks come spilling out of her bag and are just scattered across the marketplace floor. But she picks herself up quickly and just darts off into the distance. She's heading in a sort of southwesterly direction towards the park, but she kind of looks back. She doesn't stop to pick up the silks that have fallen from her bag.
I like to think that as Alright runs by her, she sees him and she's like, "It's the finest silks in Loom. You may have known it from Hulon," and just like again, like just an NPC on repeat. Just exhausted their dialogue.
Never should have come here. Absolutely. Things are getting a bit tense now, guys, and I think the music should probably reflect that. This object is hurtling towards Oakenford. It give me Thorn an investigation roll, please. A 5. Looking up into the sky and seeing this thing travel towards Earth, you're just filled with the feeling that you've never seen anything like this. It's difficult for you to discern how big it is, and it's difficult for you to discern its exact trajectory as well. It would be a bit of a guess to know where this thing is heading to. What do you want to do?
How far is it from me? Can I do I have an idea of that?
Give me a perception check.
Oh god.
And you better hope for your sake it's a good one.
Oh no.
It's not great. Your best guess is that you have no more, assuming this thing continues to move at its current rate and trajectory, you think this is going to collide with Oakenford within a minute.
Oof.
Ooh.
There is chaos in the streets. People are running to and fro, not knowing what the fuck they're doing. They are running this way and that. People are yelling for their family members. You see a couple of kids running off into the distance, and the screams are getting louder.
Um. Ooh. I'm trying to look where it is like the quiet place, so like not where all the people are running to, but just a place where not that many people are, and go there.
Jeb, give me a perception check, please.
I would gladly, sir. Perception.
Can always rely on this guy for a big number.
My days on planet Earth.
Jeb, on a 20.
Oh, my days in Pleiadian.
You look closely, and you know, I'm guessing as a rat folk probably have pretty good vision. You now establish to your satisfaction that by your estimates, whatever is hurtling towards the earth is roughly 25 meters in diameter. It's big.
Goodness gracious.
But on a 20, you also correctly gauge that its trajectory is that it's going to hit the ground on the northwest side of town. What do you want to do?
All right. First thing I'm gonna do is, as I'm kind of turning, my first instinct is I gotta get back to the Gilded Bear, right? I gotta let Greg and what was her name? What was Miss Hempel know that they need to get somewhere safe underground if possible, maybe in the cellar of the inn or something like that. But I'm gonna kind of whip an arm around and say, "Everybody run south. Go on, get," and like just try to get everyone to start moving toward me and running this way, like as many as is within the sound of my voice I can, and I'm just going to like basically like you don't see this often from Jeb because this is like an instinctive like panic type thing. I'm on all fours, just like full rat scampering,
love it. And you're moving, you're kind of moving south, but towards the Gilded Bear as well.
Yes, I'm making my way through the crowd on all fours, just moving, and as I go, I'm yelling like, "Come on, follow me! We gotta go! We gotta move! Come on, run!" Like just trying to make sure people are like getting away from where it's gonna hit, gauging that there's not much time at all. Hopefully swaying as many as I can. But yeah, my goal is to get back into the Gilded Bear.
Thorn. People are starting to move south, but because you have not really perceived the same thing, you start moving in a more northerly direction towards the safety, perhaps, of Griffin Keep. Is certainly the largest structure and certainly is designed to withstand something of a battering. And you head towards Griffin Keep. Owl, while you are in the marketplace. What are you doing? What's going on now? You've successfully tripped up Thingy, having taken a petty revenge on a silk trader. What's your next move?
You are here, Jeb, calling.
Give me perception.
South.
A lot of perception rolls so far. We'll definitely get away from these. A 6, a 9. On a 9. You can't hear him over the crowd, but you do see a lot of people moving that way.
Seeing as there are a lot of people moving that way, I'm still running. I start flapping my wings, and I'll lift up and soar towards the south.
Nice. So Owl Wright begins flying over the heads of other people as they run for their lives.
While going south, I'll shout to people on the ground, south.
Great. People are moving that way. It's there is a bit of a crush, but people are just trying to fucking book it as hard as they can towards the south side of the city or the town. Thorn, from your vantage point as you move kind of across the square towards Griffin Keep, there was a house that I mentioned a moment ago with a Loxodon who popped their head out of out of an upstairs window. Suddenly you see their door flung open and a Loxodon comes striding out into the market square, and you see as they're doing it that you can, even from a distance away, you can see that they are doing something with their hands, and a ball of yellow energy is visible within between their hands, that they are almost like massaging in midair, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and you can't hear what they say, but you can see that their mouth is moving as well. They're dressed head to toe in a kind of a robe, typical of one that would be worn by perhaps some kind of sorcerer. This Loxodon strides out into the middle of the market square, and giving a great cry, throws a huge energy force field, a huge shield that envelops the entirety of Oakenford Crossroads. And seeing this, you hear a few hopeful cries of something as close to joy as anyone can manage in this situation, as they see this enormous shield, and you see that this is something that this Loxodon is having to continually focus on. It is something that they are having to hold in place. But the entirety of the town, anything outside of the shield, is now kind of blurry to you. So, looking off into the distance, you can see still through this semi-transparent shield this object hurtling towards the ground still. And this Loxodon, now stood completely centrally, is getting louder and louder, raising his voice above the chatter, holding this shield above the entirety of the town. Owl, as you rotate your head to look back over your shoulder as you head south, and then and look up, you see whatever this is smashes through the shield. It does nothing. As it hits the shield evaporates in a second, and you see the Loxodon collapse to the ground. And those who were watching on, perhaps thinking they had found a reprieve, the realization sets in. That was the last hope for Oakenford. This thing is going to hit. You have got 10 seconds. What do you do? Each of you, let's start with Thorn. You're near Griffin Keep now. From now, you can see this thing is so close. You can see that this is going to strike just outside of the walls of Oakenford. But I mean just. It is going to hit, and there is going to be a blowback. You are near Griffin Keep. What do you want to do?
Run towards the east gate.
Run towards the east gate. Good shout. Jeb, you are nearing the Gilded Bear. You're presumably just carrying on, scampering towards the Gilded Bear.
In the time I have, in that 10 seconds, if possible, I'm running just as fast as I can. If given time, I want to basically crash through the doors without saying a word, just like basically tackle Greg, and if I can get Miss Hemble as well, like to the ground behind the bar, just to or into the cellar, whatever I can do that's gonna kind of get down, you know what I mean?
You scramble, Jeb,
and protect my friends as much as possible. Yeah.
You scramble towards the front door of the Gilded Bear, but you're not going to make it. Time is up. As you approach it, this thing is coming down and coming down fast. You all start to feel a heat, the warmth given off by this thing. As it is now virtually parallel with the ground, you can see this is some kind of meteorite. It's it's made of rock. Owl, you've got 10 seconds. What do you do?
Diving behind the house so that I'll be out of the blast.
You dive behind the nearest house. Jeb, you are approaching the front door of the Gilded Bear. Thorn, you are darting between the craftsman's workshops as you try to make your way to the east gate. There are other people there running the same way as you. This thing, I don't even know how to fucking describe this in the right way. The streets are the surge of crowd running south and east as the realization, as people begin to see as it got closer, that this thing was going to land and that it was going to hit on the northwest side of Oakenford. Soldiers manning the walls of Griffin Keep disappear inside. People dive into their houses. People smash windows in order to jump through them to get inside a building. And the meteorite hits. In that moment, there is a cacophonous noise that you've never heard anything like before. And you watch, any of you that can see, Owl, you've probably got the best vantage point for this. You're kind of heading south down that main road towards the south gate. And of course, you're elevated as well, flying as you are. You look back and see the northwestern wall just shatter. Griffin Keep is obliterated. The towers crumble. The walls turn to dust. An enormous shockwave rips through the town. Everything on the northwestern side of the town is completely vaporized. Everybody give me a Constitution save. Before you do, though, I will tell you now, the DC of this Constitution save is 18.
Fucking hell. Constitution save, Joe.
Martin, campaigns are generally longer than one shots. I
Can't be fucked.
I feel
Can't be fucking bothered. We're doing it today.
Stefan.
I want to be in bed by 9.
Oh, but you
And
can
Nat 20 for Thorn. Jeb's luck runs out when he needed it most.
fuck.
Those
Indeed. I knew it would.
the shockwave rips through. Everything that you've seen in town so far is just sent fucking flying into the air and is ripped to shreds. Those who failed the roll, Al and Jeb, take now. Everybody, let's have a look at what everyone's HP is. So Thorn, you're on HP 14. 9 for Al, and Jeb, is it 10?
It's 10. It's 10.
Those who failed the roll, Al and Jeb, roll 2d8 damage. Thorn, 1d8.
Oh my god.
Now, it is mathematically possible for Jeb and Al to be downed here. Oh my god!
No.
A 16 for Jeb. Yep. Those good rolls. And a 15 for Al.
Well, let me find a new character.
Thorn, you take 6 points of damage. The shockwave rips. Buildings crumbling everywhere. And for Jeb, Thorn, you are knocked off your feet, but land on your front relatively unscathed. Jeb and Al, for you, everything goes black. And there, we will take a short break. Let's pick up then.
I could speak to the deaf. You're now deaf.
Let's
To
pick
yourself.
up in the immediate aftermath of what just happened. And for those just coming in, perhaps I should just say that the town of Oakenford Crossroads has been hit on the northwest side by a large meteorite. The fate of Jeb and Owl we will soon discover, but Thorn, darting between buildings, remains conscious and, let's not say well, but is doing all right. Let me describe, Thorn, what you are seeing and hearing. As you can imagine, an enormous amount of noise. The initial sound of impact, the sonic boom of a shockwave whipping past you, which sends you flying forwards, and you kind of bash your head on the ground, which is what removes the HP. And then just the sound of creaking, crashing, crumbling of buildings behind you being demolished by the force of this shockwave. As you look around, you can see, I've tried to approximate more or less what your vision is like on screen. The thing that you are mostly surrounded by is an enormous dust cloud. You have the blinded condition.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I don't think it will make a huge difference for you. It's to do with things like spell casting mostly. But it means that anything that requires you to be able to see, if you were doing like a ranged attack, it would give you disadvantage, that kind of stuff. So it may not make a huge difference to you in particular, but we will see.
Maybe it does, but we will see.
We will see.
You autofill any ability checks that require sight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Depends on if we're going to fight.
Well, let's hope not. All you can really hear is just chaos. You hear buildings crashing. You can hear crying and screaming of people that have been injured, people that are, well, at least they're alive, I guess. But all you can see is just like the faintest silhouettes of the nearest buildings to you. Where you are as you were heading towards the east gate, you did at least manage to put some distance between you and the worst of things. You actually find yourself next to Sacred Wildheart Hospital, which is severely damaged. The entire west wall has fallen, and you can almost see like a cross section of the rest of it where the damage has been done. And crawling out of the rubble of the hospital, you see an orc pulling himself along the ground, obviously injured, with a tattered white coat. You can make this out as they crawl extremely close to you. You only see them when they're about 10 feet away. And he looks up and says, "Help me. Help."
Thorn asks what he can do for the man.
Just my bag, and he very in a laboured fashion points to a bag that he was actually crawling towards. It seems to have been thrown from the wreckage, and is some about 15 feet from you. You can just make it out lying on the ground. My bag, please.
I will grab the bag.
Inside the bag, there is one healing potion. Miraculously, it seems to have survived this incident. And he looks up at you and sees it in your hand and reaches up. Please, please.
I will give him the potion because he probably needs it more than me.
You hand the potion and he uses, looks like probably not far off the last of his energy. He yanks the cork out of the top of the bottle and just pours it at his mouth. Can't drink. He just has to hope that some of it goes in, basically. And you watch as he just his breathing becomes a bit calmer. Oh, thank you. Who are you?
I'm Thorn Hammerhand.
Thorn. Good to meet you. I'm Dr. Cobain. What happened?
There was this big thingy in the sky that just crashed the whole city down.
There's something in the sky. We have to find the senator. We should.
The senator?
The senator of Oakenfold. We must find him. We must. Do you know which way south is?
I think that way?
Give me a survival check.
Oh god.
A 9. On a 9, you are disoriented by everything, of course, but you're trying to piece together in your mind. You kind of figure out where the hospital was in relation to the direction you were coming from. And you, as you just said, point off maybe that way. And you're kind of pointing more in a southwesterly direction, but it's not bad. He goes, I can't see a thing. Yes, let us go south, please. He gets to his feet, but kind of moves towards you and puts an arm around you for support. So take me to south. As you wander off towards in a kind of southwesterly direction, let's go and check in elsewhere. Owl, you open your eyes, and right in front of you, you see a face looking down at you, gripping you. You were blown out of the sky by the shockwave, and you landed hard on the ground below, knocking you out. As you open your eyes blearily, you see a human face looking down at you, and kind of slapping you in the face to try and get you to wake up, while simultaneously pouring something down your throat. And you come to. Give me a you're going to regain a 1d4 of HP. Well, it's not much, but
I'll take it.
You're alive. And you look up and see a human man of approximately 50 years, with a kind of shoulder length blonde hair that's beginning to go grey. Give me a perception check, Al.
5. very fitting.
You can't really make out any further details about this guy. The combination of the dust and, you're just coming to, you've taken a hard hit on the head. You can make out his face, but anything else that might be apparent about this guy is hidden to you in this moment. He looks down and says, "Come, drink, drink." And as you take this potion down, you find a little strength return.
I guess I'll be covered in dust and soothe.
Oh, for sure.
As the guy. Can I twice cast prestidigitation on us?
Sorry, say again.
Prestidigitation. Can I cast it twice? One time on me, one time on the guy.
Sure.
So I'll cast that, and the dust will fly off a bit.
So you're pushing the dust back a little so that you can see this guy better, right?
Yeah, you instantly clean or spoil clean an object no larger than 1 cubic foot.
You briefly see this guy is obviously covered in dust as well. You can barely make out the features of his face, but you do see that he's dressed pretty well. You make out that his clothes would look quite fine if not for the fact that they were covered in dust. They don't appear to be damaged, however. Seeing you cast Prestidigitation, he looks down a little startled and says, "Okay, you're all right." And he darts off. You see that he's carrying a bag, and he runs to a few feet away to another body and kneels down next to them and checks them, and then his head drops. Okay. He ignores the body and moves to another one. He kneels down next to this one and kind of starts to slap them. And is like, okay. He pulls another potion out of his bag and begins to pour this down their throat.
Can I help the man any further?
You tell me. You can go.
I
You can follow him if you want.
I'll follow him and say to him, "Sir, I might help." And I'll cast in the line he was going. I'll cast Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire. Each object in the 20-foot cube within range is outlined in blue, green, violet. Any creature, when the spell is cast, is also outlined in light if it fails the Dexterity saving throw. So guessing everyone is, he's checking the people that are unconscious.
He's checking to see if they died. Yeah.
They automatically fail Dexterity saving throws, but they'll have the outlines, so he can
spot people better in the dust.
Yeah, we can spot people better in the dust by giving them an outline.
Love that. He's currently in the midst of trying to push a potion down somebody's throat, but he whips his head round when you do this and sort of notices more bodies. He's like, "Oh my god, incredible!" He pulls 2 potions out of the bag. You see that there are about 8 bottles in the bag. They're pretty small. He thrusts 2 of them towards you and goes, "Over there, help them, please." He points to a body on the ground.
I'll go check on the body.
As you approach the body, as you get closer, you see a body lying lifelessly on the ground, partially covered in rubble. All that is sticking out is their head, their right shoulder, and their right arm. On their right hand, as you get next to them, you notice that every finger on this hand bears a ring. This is someone wearing a lot of rings and jewellery. And next to them on the ground, next to their head, lies a tattered shawl.
All right has seen his mother do this many times as she was a healer, and he sort of gets into the zone of helping people, and just like a switch flips, and um, yeah, she was ripping him off, but now she's just a casualty, and he's helping her. So the switch flips on, and he'll try to wake her up. He'll try to feed her a potion to get her up on her
As you
feet.
kneel down beside her, Al's correctly identified that this is, of course, Ms. Dingleman, the silk trader. And as you look for signs of life, you see nothing. The light in her has gone out.
He'll close her eyes and starts going to the next body.
The person that woke you up yells and says, "If they're dead, just move on! Just move as quickly as you can!"
Yeah, and that helps him getting more into that vibe of just looking for people that are still alive and feeding them potions.
We'll come back to this scene shortly. Meanwhile, near the Gilded Bear, Jeb, your eyes begin to open, and what you notice first is that you are staring up, you're on your back, and you're moving. Give me a perception check, why not?
All right. Plus. Well,
On a 12, you feel that your hands are being held and you're being dragged on your back along the floor. It's not terribly comfy, but it's a vast improvement on the last thing you remember feeling. You're not sure how much time has passed, but what you see is Greg Gannon dragging you by the hands across the ground, and very shortly you see him pull you inside the Gilded Bear. Meanwhile, standing over you is Miss Hempel, who has clearly just, you see her on the tail end of some kind of healing spell that she has cast. You regain 1d6 hit points.
all right. All the while, I'm just going Southern Star. Southern Star 1. Come
you
on,
boys. So just to recap for everybody watching, on the most destructive roll of the game, Jeb rolled a 16 out of a possible 16, and Al rolled a 15 out of a possible 16, and presented with the opportunity to regain hit points, both of them roll a 1.
Yep.
I'm barely hanging on. I am
guys-
not well.
If you want it out of the game, guys, just say so. You know,
I could use a nap. I'm just gonna lay here on this this makeshift bed. Yeah. No, I'm just Southern Star. Where's my hat?
Miss Hempel looks behind her and sees a hat on the ground. She's like, "Oh, for goodness sake," goes and grabs your hat off the ground.
Oh, you're a peach. Oh.
And as Greg pulls you inside, the noise of the dust and everything swirling around is somewhat deafened. I should have mentioned, I don't think it affects anything that we just did, and if it did, then we just have to ignore it. Al, you I think it does make a difference because you did prestidigitation, didn't you? But you should have been blinded. But it's so you were not too badly blinded. It's fine. I'm not too worried. Jeb, you are not blinded as you are now dragged indoors to where the inside of the Gilded Bear. Greg Gannon drags you inside the door as you are kind of coming to, and goes,
Okay.
Go.
I do have a spell for cure wounds.
And what does it do?
that I'm not against trying to use, if that's okay.
Describe
All
it to
right.
me.
Okay, so it is a I'd be along with asking for my hat, I'd be feeling for my, and actually this might be up to you as my dungeon master. What would be left of my belongings? Because my belongings would be the satchels and the belts and vials and glass that's on my body that would presumably, would any of that have survived this giant shockwave, or would that all be like shattered and basically gone?
That potion of instant dragon kill that you've been carrying around for 30 years, waiting for the right time, sadly that smashed into smithereens.
Well, shit.
The potion of teleport to the end game that you've been carrying for 10 years is beyond repair and has just
Oh, darn it.
soaked into the ground.
All right.
The
That's a shame, too.
potion of bring back your loved ones from the dead, I'm afraid that's gone. But
Whack and hail.
I am content that any bottles that you require to cast basic spells like that miraculously live to fight another day.
Okay, so I would okay, so here's how this would go is I would, like I was like, "Oh, my hat." And she'd be like, "Oh, goodness sake." And I go, "Miss Hempel, it's the red one, the bottle. If you could kindly produce that for me, if I can't quite reach it."
She reaches down to your belt and she kind of, Greg sort of sits you up on the ground on the floor of the Gilded Bear.
Okay, yeah.
She with one hand stuffs your hat on your head. There's your damn hat, and reaches down to your belt and unclasps this small red bottle and grabs your hand and kind of like thrusts it into your hand, sort of makes you hold it. Now drink.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of real weakly, just like with my teeth, just pull the stopper out and just. Normally I would spit it, but it's more of like a.
Yeah,
it's like falls. And,
okay.
like, bounces down my stomach. And I'm gonna use this, and it is a cure wounds, and it is a 2d8 plus 3. So
Cure wounds 2d8 plus 3.
hang on, is that right? That seems high, doesn't it?
That doesn't sound right at level 1 to me.
Okay, let me see. Level
Let me
First.
Let me see what I can.
First
find.
level abjuration. Creature you touch regains number of hit points equal to 2d8 plus your spellcasting ability mod, which is 3.
Hang on a second.
It does seem high.
Cure wounds. I have this as a 1d8.
Okay, I wonder if it might have glitched as level 1. It might be trying to read it as a higher level spell, but yeah, okay, 1d8 plus 3
1d8
is
plus plus your spellcasting ability. Yeah.
Okay, as I said, that did seem very high to me. I was like, that's
like
way
you're-
more hit points
you're-
than I actually have.
You're going to be fine no matter what.
Swear to God.
And-
Okay,
and-
8.
and 8. Okay, so you are.
If you roll another 1, I swear.
Yeah, I think Fuero is right there briefly in chat that it levels with you.
I think so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeb. You are back to full health. Is that correct? Oh no, you were 10. You start on, right?
I'm at 9 HP out of 10,
Okay,
so
you're
I'm
at 9 out of
doing
10.
significantly better. Yeah.
Phil, I know this is maybe check. You'll have the new Cure Wound spell. That's the new ruling.
Wait, sorry?
It's the 2024 ruling that says 2d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Is that right? Let's have a look at it.
So it is a new. Okay.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Give me another. I guess I haven't really
You
decided
need
what we're playing on, have I?
Yeah, do
Well, I'll
do
be.
you want 2024 rules or the legacy rules?
2024.
Okay, so I just went ahead and rolled another D8. So I'm at max health then,
Fine. Fine.
if that's the case. Like, I guess I'll let you
What a
heal
weird.
yourself.
That makes Cure Wounds significantly stronger, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Like-
Good grief, especially at early level like
So
this.
we'll make that a rule that anywhere there's any kind of disparity, we'll use 2024. I probably should have confirmed that before the game. But there we are. Okay, cool. So you are back to being in fine fettle. Looking around the room as you sit up, Jeb,
Yeah.
you can see that a bit of time has passed. You're not sure how long you were out for, but clearly a bit of time must have passed because there are multiple people now inside the Gilded Bear. The Gilded Bear has taken damage. Its windows are all smashed. There is glass all over the place. You can sort of make out that with an effort, people have tried to kind of kick glass towards the walls to keep it out of the middle of the room. And part of the roof on the northwestern side of the Gilded Bear has the ceiling is sort of not caved in, but is definitely damaged for sure. Of course, lots of bottles and things have fallen off the shelves. So it has taken damage, but is still standing. And there are people in the room. One of them has a hammer and nails and is trying to board up one of the windows to stop more dust coming in. There's a terrified family of gnomes in one corner that are kind of just huddling together in the corner. And Greg Gannon and Ms. Hempel are there as you get to your feet, and Greg looks at you and is like, "Well, you must be blessed by, I don't know if it's Corvus or whatever god you might follow in the holler, but you're one lucky rat, my friend."
And I thought I was about to go and see Miss Achak. I think she was on my shoulder today. Good
Yeah.
heavens! I'm glad to see you and everyone here all right as well.
We can't
That was
delay.
a mess.
We have to find more survivors. Are you fit?
Yeah.
Can you help?
I think I can. I'm kind of like open my stuff and see that there is some big, like stains and places where stuff got broken on me. I say I'm a little lacking, but I'll do everything I can.
Right. Come on. Greg opens the door again, and
Lead the way.
you and Greg and Miss Hempel all walk out into the dust storm. Once again, you are now blinded. You have the blinded condition.
All right.
Any spells that you need to cast that would require sight, you cannot do.
All right.
And as you walk out, you can just faintly see off in the distance, across the way from the Gilded Bear, across the gardens, you can make out the silhouettes of the large opulent houses that I mentioned when Thorn was entering town. This is where the wealthier people of Oakenford live. And with a kind of grim laugh, Greg goes, "You see, the rich don't even get obliterated the same way as we do they? Their houses are kind of more or less still standing. They've taken some damage, or obviously dust coated, but they certainly have attracted a lot less damage than the buildings nearer where Thorn is, where we will now return. Thorn is, of course, supporting Dr. Cobean as they try to make their way through town. Dr. Cobean actually, as you're guiding, he spots something that helps him get his bearings, and he sort of squints. He's struggling to see, but he's like, "I think we need to turn left. We must go further this way." As you make your way, you actually go past the Gilded Bear, not missing Jeb, Greg, and Miss Hempel by much as they head out into town to try and locate survivors. You walk past the Gilded Bear and enter and arrive at the door of one of these wealthier houses. And Dr. Cobean, being supported by you, just tries to lift his arm. He's like, "I can't. You'll have to knock for me."
I knock very loudly on the door.
After a few seconds, the door is opened a crack, and you see a human opens the door. He's like, "Oh my goodness, Dr. Cobain, come in, please!" And pulls the door open hurriedly and ushers the pair of you inside. You're no longer blinded. You look around this house, which, as I said, is kind of undamaged, really. Like, one of the windows is cracked but hasn't even smashed. And the interior feels like extremely jarring from what you just stepped out of. As you see what is clearly the house of somebody who of some status, with ornately carved furniture and the like. Obviously, outside the windows, all you can see is this huge dust storm raging. But inside, it feels kind of warm and cozy. You can see there's nobody else here. It's just this one person, and they say, "Dr. Cobain, are you all right?" And he says, "Just sit me down. Just sit me down." This human kind of relieves you, Thorn, of the burden of carrying Dr. Cobain and guides him to this to a chair and sits him down. As he kind of rests, this human turns to you and says, my name is Gorham. I'm the Undersecretary to Senator Pangborn. And who might you be?"
I'm Thorn Hammerhand.
Thorn Hammerhand. Well, thank you for your service in delivering the good doctor to us. I suspect, may need his help before all this is said and done. Are you all right?
Just some scratches. I will be fine.
You are sure? Here, he strides over to the dining table and grabs just grabs an apple, and hands it to you and says, "I know it's not much, but eat this. It might help a little."
I take the apple and eat it.
Um,
And after I'm
It's poison.
finished with it, like the inside, I'm not sure how you call it in
the
English,
the core of the apple.
but the core of the apple, I'll just throw it aside.
Okay, nice. He watches. I'm trying to remember if an apple actually does give you any HP back. We'll tell you. We'll say it gives you an extra 1 HP. How about that? He watches you kind of throw this core on the ground and goes, "Yes. Well, what's going on out there? I heard the noise. What on earth happened?"
There was a big thing in the sky that landed on the city wall and cracked everything.
What was it?
I don't know. Not something I could find, so.
My goodness. Is there anyone else alive out there? Have you seen the senator?
I have no idea. It's so you cannot see anything outside.
At that moment, the door opens and in comes 4 figures. One of them is Alright. One of them is the man with the blonde hair who revived him. And as well as those two, there is a gnomish woman and a male dwarf that come pouring through the door. and all of them kind of open the door and kind of collapse as they enter, and then sort of pick themselves up. Gorham, who you've been speaking to, Thorn, is like runs over to the man with the blonde hair, like, Senator, and he throws his arms around him in a big hug. He's like, oh, Senator Pangborn, thank goodness. Why on earth did you run out? He's like, I heard screams. I had to go and see if I could help anyone. And look, we have managed to save 3. The senator turns to you, Owl, and says, I can't thank you enough for your assistance. Tell me your name.
Oh. My name is All Right. But I don't feel like it now.
Well, whatever your name is, I'm glad you're happy with it. And he turns to the dwarf and your name, my fine fellow. And he says, Corbin. I'm Corbin. Is there any food I can have? And Gorham just sort of gestures to the table. It's like, take whatever you need. Why is my... Oh, I see what's happened. Sorry about that. And he and the gnomish woman both approach the table. It's like, my lady, I didn't catch your name. And she turns around and says, Juliana. But she kind of, she's already munching on like a chicken leg, and she sort of turns around and it's like, Juliana, and then just goes right back to munching. The senator, who you now realise is indeed Senator Pangborn of Oakenford, just puts his hands on his hips and just bows his head. He's exhausted. He says, that is by far the worst 20 minutes of my life. Please, everybody sit. We will have to go back out soon enough, but we must take a moment. He's looking at Thorn. He kind of looks down at the arm and looks up at Thorn, and just from looking at you, says, you are not of Playdeen. Where are you from?
I'm from Jin.
From Jin. Well, I hope this, whatever's going on, hasn't affected as far away as there. Does anybody know what happened? Can anybody tell me what on earth is going on?
Well, it looked like a ball of fire coming down from the skies.
A ball of fire.
And we when it came near the ground, it turned really hot, and well, there was this group of people running south. I guess
Where did it hit?
north, but not exact. I don't know exactly where.
Okay.
But the north side.
All right. The door opens again, and Ms. Hempel stumbles through the door, swiftly followed by Greg Gannon and Jeb. And Greg is like, see, I told you they'd be all right in here, didn't I? The senator immediately flashes back and is like, for in the name of Corvus, Gannon, could you give it a rest for one moment? We are all affected. And Ganon's like, I'm just saying that there's a side of town where all the houses now lie flat, and there's a side of town where they're still standing. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. It's not for me to say. I'm just stating a fact that that's what happened. And Pangborn the senator's just like, we don't have time for this right now, Greg. Either help us or don't. The Gilded Bear is still mostly standing as well, I see, by the way. Yeah, mostly. The senator looks around the room at everybody. You've got Corbin and Juliana both just dining and trying to make themselves feel a bit better via the time-honoured method of stuffing their faces with food. Dr. Cobean sits on the sofa. The doctor looks up at Owl and is like, "Oh, Mr. Smith, I'm glad you survived. Are there any more survivors out there? Does anyone know?"
We didn't pass any, did we, on our way? Except these two, I reckon, and I point at Alright and the I can't remember the blonde guy's name, but
Senator Pangborn is his name.
oh, that was the senator that found him. Okay, I see. Excuse me. Yeah, so I would have pointed at them then. Except y'all two, I reckon we saw y'all through the smoke.
Yeah, we didn't find any more living people, sadly.
Oh, what a calamity!
Ganon pipes up and says,
Our nation.
"There are a few people sheltering inside the Gilded Bear. Maybe we should bring them here?" The senator nods. He's like, "Yes. Do you mind going to get them?" "I'll go get them. Thank you."
Before they go, I'll cast Prestidigitation on them again.
And that's
Make
to
sure they're
help them find their way through the dust.
Yeah, to help them find a way to the dust, to have less dust attached to them. Just clean them a bit.
Ganon goes out the door and heads across towards the Gilded Bear, which is not too far away.
Yeah. As he leaves, I'd say, Ganon, you need a hand, brother?
No, I'll be back in 3 minutes. It'll be fine.
All right. You be safe out there now. Keep your head down. Watch out.
I will. He heads out the door. The senator looks and says, "We must act quickly. This is a catastrophe on an unprecedented scale." He turns to Corbin and Juliana at the table. He says, "Are you fit? Are you able to help us?" And munching on a big pie, Corbin just gives a thumbs up. He turns to Dr. Cobean and is like, "And you, Doctor?" He's like, I've injured my leg, and my vision appears to be blurry." He's like, and the senator goes, "Just stay there a moment." He turns to Thorn, to Owl, and to Jeb. "The three of you, are you able to help?"
Do what I can, sir.
Yes, I'll help.
Owl, you're still on 1 HP, are you not?
Yep.
You are indeed. And Thorn, you're on how many HP?
Let me check. 9 out of, what was it? 14.
Ms. Hempel is there as well, of course. And she looks at Owl and says, "You're a brave one, but I don't have to She goes, I don't have to be a wizard to know that you are not fine. She casts Cure Wounds on Al, and you can roll, apparently, 2d8. Don't roll 2 1s, for God's sake.
Please don't. Please don't.
Don't jinx it.
Oh, what? Wait.
What have you done?
Big,
Whatever it is, I can't see the outcome.
Oh, hidden rules,
Oh.
D&D or Dungeon Master rules.
Okay, I'll do. I pressed the wrong button indeed.
There we go. So that's a 6.
There
So
we go.
you regain 6 HP. She looks at you as you sort of appear to gain a bit of vitality about you and says, yes, well, that's better, isn't it? The doctor speaks up and says, Senator, we may be able to help more people if we can recover some of the supplies from the hospital. I do not know the fate of anyone inside it. The senator nods and turns to the three of you and says, I need you to make your way back to Sacred Wildheart. He turns to Thorn and says, I assume as you came with the doctor that you roughly know the way.
Yeah, I will find it.
Fantastic. The Cobean moves to a kind of laying down position on this long bench, and he kind of puts his hand on his head and goes, "It shouldn't be too hard to find. There is a cupboard just as you enter on the south side of the hospital. It should be in the first room you enter through the main door, and there should be supplies in there. It'll be at the far side of the room as you go in. It'll be quite near the waiting room that I retrieved you from, Mr. Smith." And points to Al. The senator just looks and says, "Hurry back, gather all you can, and hurry back as soon as you're able." He turns to Corbin and Juliana and says, "Come, the three of us must go out again. We must see if we can find others." He turns to his undersecretary, Gorham. He's like, "Gorham, you come with us as well."
All right, you lead the way, Mr. Smith. I'll help you all I can now.
Okay, but my name is Mr. Wright.
Oh, Mr. Wright. Well, why do you...
Sorry,
Yeah,
carry
right.
on.
Let's go.
All right.
Ms. Hempels overhears this and is like, "I've been looking for Mr. Wright for years, but I don't think now's the time somehow." She goes, "I'll tend to the good doctor. Goodness knows we're going to need him." So Miss Hempels and Dr. Cobean stay together, and the door opens and 7 of you exit. The 3 of you go off to the right, heading north towards Sacred Wildheart. And the other 4, including Senator Pangborn, Gorham, Corbin and Juliana, head off towards the south road that heads towards the south gate. Al had obviously indicated that's where most people were heading, and it indicated that the blast was on the north side anyway. I need to make a few rolls for the fates of a couple of particular individuals, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. So let's see how they get on.
Uh-oh.
15.
6
That one's dead.
and another 15.
15.
Great. You'll remember,
Okay.
Owl, that earlier on you, while trying to help Senator Pangborn, you unfortunately saw the telltale signs of Ms. Dingleman, the silk trader, and no signs of life, sadly. You spot familiar sight to you, Thorn, which is Xavier Tinflint crawling along the floor towards where you've just kind of come out, not long after leaving Senator Pangborn's house. Crawling along the floor, coming south, and this is the smith that you were speaking to about, trying to sell you some armor, and you see him crawling towards you.
I say to the other two, maybe we should help him. He's clearly not dead yet, but he will not survive that long anymore, I think.
Yeah, maybe we can go ahead and get him back over Miss Hempel.
That will be an idea.
Mister, can you walk? Can you stand? I'm gonna kind of walk over to him and try to help him up.
He kind of like shields his eyes and it's like, I think so. Is there anywhere
You're all
safe?
right now.
Is there anywhere safe?
Yes, sir. There sure is. We just came from there. It's just around the way. We'll take you right there. They got food. They got a healer. You'll be all right. Come on with us now.
Just point me. Just point me. I can make it.
You sure you'll be okay? It's just that way. And I'll point in the direction we came from.
He sort of barely regards you. He just kind of pushes past and just continues staggering towards the house of Senator Pangborn. You continue on your way, heading up towards Sacred Wildheart.
Hi, Witchy.
And there is one unfortunate sign that you see that only meaningful to Thorn. You do spot on the ground a broken crutch, a broken wooden crutch.
Oh no.
Is there a sign of the boy?
Give me a perception check.
Witchy, you join us in the aftermath of a calamity.
Some drama.
Yes, a little bit.
You look around as best you can, Thorn. There is no sign of Adam's body, or living or dead. There is no sign of him. You are surrounded on virtually, certainly the further north and west you look, the more rubble you see. You're able to kind of see past the Gilded Bear and what used to be a town with buildings that would have obscured your view. You can't make out any tall shadows really looking that way. Those that are very small in nature, suggesting at the very least some heavily damaged buildings. But yeah, no sign of Adam. And you do find underneath some rubble the pelt trader that also tried to speak to you. She is mercifully alive. This is a gnome that is that has survived. She's kind of buried up to her waist in rubble, and sort of the top half of her body is kind of out on the ground over to your left.
Is she like? Can I speak to her?
Yeah, she's conscious.
Okay. I ask her if she can still feel her legs.
She speaks back to you, and she looks up into your eyes from her position on the ground and goes, "Wolf pelts, bear pelts. You want a pelt? You need a pelt."
I'm start getting away the rubble that's on her legs.
I'll help.
Jeb, what are you up to?
See, Jeb is kind of moving with this group and I'm sort of like scanning for any movement, anybody that might be like under rubble, like trying to move something, like so listening for like any groans or anyone calling for help in my kind of immediate area.
Owl and Thorn, give me a strength check with advantage as you're pulling together.
Okay.
Nice. 2 good rolls.
90. Now they start getting better again.
And a 23. Perfect.
Oh.
It's not too difficult, thankfully, to uncover her, and you pull some stone and wood debris and cast them aside as Jeb kind of scans the horizon, looking to see if there's anybody else nearby in need of help. You're kind of some way north of the Gilded Bear now, about halfway to Sacred Wild Heart. You're able to uncover her. Thankfully, the damage to the bottom half of her body, she seems to have gotten away pretty luckily with minor injuries, but she is a bit delirious still. And she just is kind of like looking around her a bit disoriented. And she goes, "My pelts. Where are my pelts?"
I'll try to look around if I can see any pelts lying around.
Give me a perception check. We've been heavy on perception this session. Lots of having to look for and at things.
Very
Nope,
perceptive.
not being a thing.
There's no sign of her pelts. Is it the biggest deal in the world at this point in time? Probably not, but she seems very concerned by it. But no, you can't see any sign of her wares, unfortunately.
Martin having to rewrite like 3 episodes of the campaign based on us not finding the pelts.
Yeah, sadly these were magical pelts.
One roll
The
that was crucial to the story.
The pelt of solving all the problems, unfortunately, is not visible to you. So yeah, you can't see any sign of her pelts.
We need to help her and get her back to the house. So I will just put her on my shoulder and drag her along.
As you're doing that, you see a few figures off in the distance, and one of them turns and is looking back at you. It's Greg Gannon, and he comes dashing over towards you. He's like, "Who have you found? Who have you found? Oh my God!"
Yeah, I'll kind of wave him down.
Betsy Trotswood, is that you? This poor gnome that Thorn is kind of carrying along. She's like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Gannon. Have you seen my pelts?" "No, darling, I haven't seen your pelts. I'm sorry. Come on." And he looks at the 3 of you. He's like, "You 3 are supposed to be going to the hospital. I'll sort out survivors. Go." He just grabs Betsy and throws an arm. He's been coming out of the Gilded Bear with any that were taking shelter in there with him, and they're making their way back to Senator Pangborn's. But he takes Betsy off your hands and is like, "Go, get there as quick as you can."
Right. Yes, sir.
You see Gannon and apparently Betsy Trotswood head off into the distance towards the house. The 3 of you begin making your way north. I think now is the time to reveal to you what is left of the town. The dust is slowly. It's not. You're still very much got blinded condition and still cannot see much, but the initial cloud does begin to dissipate, and you begin to get an idea. Obviously, you can't see everything that's going on the other side of town, but you begin to see what is left of the town. Let me remind you first what Oakenford Crossroads looked like previously. And now you will see what remains.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You make your way past the Speculators Club, which Thorn you saw on your way into town. It has suffered damage, but remains standing. And just north of it, you see the ruins of Sacred Wildheart. The section of wall and door that Dr. Coveen mentioned to you is some more or less intact. Everything off to the westernmost side of the hospital is completely collapsed. And you arrive at the door of Sacred Wildheart.
I'll get towards the door and try opening it carefully.
Yeah, is there a door to open? Is it
The door is still this section of the wall and the door is still looking okay.
all right?
Sacred Wildheart, I didn't really describe in a great amount of detail previously, is or was a 2-story building. So there is a lot of rubble around. You can see just to the left of this door where you're entering is kind of the cut-off point where the rubble stops and something resembling a building begins to appear again. You can see it's heavily damaged. Owl, as you push the door open, it is hard to open. There is debris behind it, but not so much that you can't push it aside. And you open to a waiting room or a room that you have been in before. It was the opening. Off to the right is the waiting room that you were held in previously when we first started. This room has suffered from some damage. And give me. Well, no, you enter the room, and Owl, give me a perception roll, please. Sorry to sound like a broken record.
5.
There isn't
Magic is done.
a great deal of note within this room. There is some seating. This seems to be almost like a reception area. But sure enough, on the back wall, there is a supply cupboard, as Dr. Coveen anticipated.
Oh, thank goodness it survived.
Yeah.
And I think I'll scrabble over to it, open it up.
The cupboard is locked. But it's not...
All right.
You know, this isn't made of 6 inches of stone. It is a wooden cupboard that has just been locked with a normal key.
I will use my axe and just break it open.
I love that. No need to fuck around. I'm not going to make you roll for damage on it. You smash through the front door of this cupboard and are easily able to then rip the door off its hinge, essentially, and yeah, no time for finesse there on something like this.
Can I add a little color, Martin?
Please.
Okay, I like to think that Jeb would, like I said, is like, oh, it survived, thank goodness. And he goes and he tries to open it, and he tries to jig it, and he's like, oh, darn thing's locked. And he puts his hands on his hips, and all of a sudden, axe just like,
blam! Sending wood splinters flying off all over the place.
And I look up at Thorn, I'll say, that's the best key I ever seen.
On the inside of the hospital, by the way, you are no longer blinded. You no longer have the blinded condition.
All right.
Take it as read that for the time being, anytime you're outside, you have it, and anytime you're inside, you do not.
Fair.
The sound of this axe smashing through the door echoes around the room. There's not a great deal of other sound. And actually, as you hear the sound echo, you become aware of the other sounds that you're hearing a lot of creaking, a lot of cracking. The damage may have been done to this building, but it may not be over. The structural integrity of this building may be in question.
Yeah. I'll say with some urgency, like, I think we might need to complete our business here as soon as possible. It seems a little unstable.
There is some
I'll,
good
uh,
news. Sorry, carry on now.
I'll keep my head on a swivel.
I reckon you will.
Yeah, well, you would do, wouldn't you? There is some good news. Opening up the cupboard, there are 2 shelves, each of which has 5 potions of healing.
I'll start loading the I'll upend one of my satchels and like dump out the ingredients of it, kind of wipe it out real quick, and I'll start loading it with those what I can carry.
Hold your horses there, Jeb, because there's even better news.
All right then.
On a
Well, I'll just wait.
on the lowest shelf is a bag of holding
Oh hell!
that one
Never
might
mind.
be able to, for instance, store a significant number of potions in.
Well.
Mr. Jeb, this was also here.
Oh, that's just perfect. And so yeah, I'll kind of like I've taken a few. That we'll say I've taken or Martin, if you're cool with that, say I've taken like maybe 3, and then when Owl notices that, I'll immediately like switch to loading that up with
Yeah.
him.
So you
Yeah,
load.
this is just a blessing.
You load the potions into the bag of holding. You hear a noise from just around the corner, from not very far up a corridor. In fact, Owl, it is the very same corridor that you walked down when Dr. Cobean introduced you, or was taking you to his consultation room.
Oh gosh.
Now, you may recall there was a
I-
door that was making a little bit of a ruckus.
Guy, I was here before, and there was a door with some chains on it, and I think it's not chained again.
You are correct. There are no chains on this door any longer. And suddenly, these doors push open. And 2 zombies come staggering out of the room. Turning to face you, they see you at the cupboard and begin making their way towards you. Would everybody please roll initiative?
Oh, let's go. The hell kind of hospital is this? Oh my god.
So we have
Oh
got...
no.
So is that a 13 for Owl, a 20 for Thorn, and a 2 for Jeb, yeah?
I rolled a ding dang on natural 1, I did.
Oh, natural 1, of course it is.
Yeah, I sure did.
Well, it's only initiative. It's not the worst time to do it, in all honesty. So...
Yeah, if I'm gonna burn it, I'd do that right now.
And a 20 for Thorn. Let me roll for our good friends, a famous band from yesteryear, from the 60s, and that is the Zombies, of course. And they roll an 8. So, in the initiative, it is going to be Thorn, Owl, Zombies, and they will both go on their turn, and followed by Jeb. I don't have a map for this. We'll do this entirely in Theatre of the Mind.
Right.
They are not far from you at all. They are within 15 feet of you. Thorn, you are up first.
I want to switch my arm
Okay.
to my connected Morning Star weapon. Does that cost me a action?
I'm gonna be friendly and say that it costs you a bonus action.
Okay. Let me see. I will take one of my axes because I already had it like ready in my left hand.
Yeah.
There are 15 feet, you say?
15, 1-5.
I walk up to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
just use my axe for that.
Cool. Give me a damage roll. Or attack roll, sorry.
It is a +5.
You'll have to do well to miss with a +5 to your thing.
Yeah.
That is a hit. Give me the damage.
Oh god, is it a hit? I was like, okay, this is low, but okay. 1d6 plus 3. D6, D6, D6. Here, 1d6 plus 7.
7 damage. Thank you. Anything else on your turn?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. So next up is Al.
As Owl is right inside formerly a hospital.
Holy shit, I need to get rid of the dust storm. Sorry, 1 second. Let's get some fucking combat music on. Jesus. We've had quite enough of that, haven't we? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go.
Bring on the fight tunes.
This has to be a song of the zombies.
There we go. We got some yawn style metal. Let's go. Al, what you got for me?
As Owl is inside a formerly hospital wrecked by now ruined and I think lots of death inside, he'll cast Dissonant Whispers on the zombie that Thorn didn't battle with.
Okay.
So it has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Cool. What's it got to beat?
It's got to be the 12.
Not in a million years will it do this.
17.
Makes
Whoa.
19
Okay.
on the dice, -2. Zombie is makes the save.
It takes half as much damage only. Seeing as Owl can't talk with the dead, it'll hear dead people voices in its head, and it'll drive the zombie a little bit.
Nice. How much damage?
3d6.
Ooh.
I'm rolling for it now.
That's handy. Not bad as
Yeah,
well. 12.
6.
Oh, but it's half, isn't it? Of course, yes.
Half, yeah.
On the successful save. Cool. Great. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thorn, you are in melee range, of course. Let's see. What's your AC?
16.
16. Okay, here we go. Coming at you. 18. Going to be a hit from zombie number 1. They are going to do... it's not going to be too bad. You'll be happy to hear. 7 damage. That's the hardest it could have possibly hit you.
Oh damn.
What's your HP now?
Let me check. 7 damage. I had 9.
So you now have 2.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Zombie number 2 is coming at you as well. Let's see what the hell they get on. 14. It's a miss. You live to fight another day, I'm pleased to say. Jeb, what do you got in the locker, sir? Jeb, were you holding the bag of holding, correct?
Yes.
So I just want to make clear then, if you require it, you are in possession now of 10 potions of healing.
That's right. Yes, we are, and you know, and with the mind that we want to use those for people that need them. But if we end up needing them, we do have them. So that's nice to know. I'm really keen on role playing this, but I would like your guidance and permission.
Please.
So, as an artificer and an alchemist, everything Jeb does is like, it's basically like making little bomb potions, right?
Yeah, love it.
So, and the reason I was asking earlier, like how much was my supply destroyed? Because I also keep like kind of a quarterstaff walking stick. And so I would like you to basically say like, I can play it as like, I need to melee because everything is kind of, I need to like recoup from this, event. Or like, do I have the luck of like happening to have some of these on me?
I'm content that anything that you need to do basic spells with, it has survived with you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So to that point, I'm going to position myself in such a way where like I can get a good throw, like, because it looks like they're pretty close. So maybe the one that's disengaged, I'm going to aim for that one since the other one seems to be like being attacked by Owl and Thorn. And I'm gonna say, all right, let's see what I got here. And I'm gonna start kind of, and y'all will see me like quickly like reaching and pouring and doing a quick shake of everything. And then just like hucking through the air this like luminous kind of orangey red bauble full of liquid. And as it flies through the air, you'll hear it kind of like, and when it hits, it's just boom, and it's and it bursts into flame like a Molotov. It's a firebolt.
Love it. Love that firebolt.
You hurl a modifier at a creature object within range, which is 120 feet. I can chuck these things. I make a ranged spell attack against a target, and on a hit, it takes a 1d10 fire damage.
Cool.
And it catches on fire.
So question number one, which one of you said? There was one that Thorn attacked, and there's one that Owl attacked.
Excuse me. Okay.
They're both,
I think
they both took similar damage, so that, there's not a great deal in it in terms of strategizing at the moment.
Okay, I'll go after the one that Owl attacked because Thorn, I think, was engaged like in physical combat, whereas Owl cast Dissonant Whispers. So
makes sense to me.
It's not like
Do you need to give me a spell attack roll, presumably?
Yes, and I always forget exactly how that works.
Just a d20 with your spell thingy.
Spell attack.
Spell attack.
Okay, I'm as a.
Hang on, let me open up your.
Okay, I have a +5 to hit. That's nice. Okay, so it's a d20 and that +5. Jeez. Okay, awesome.
Oh.
Delightful. All right, here we go.
15, definitely a hit. Give me the damage.
Okay. Love it. And I said it was a 1d10. Yes, 1d10. All right. Awesome. Let's have it.
A 10.
Oh.
So yeah, you'll see Jeb do kind of a quick sidestep and then all this mixing and just like a fucking pitcher's throw and just ping this thing right in the head and just drench it.
The zombie looks extremely unsteady on its feet. Anything else from you, Jeb, on that turn? However, I do want to ask you something. How many spell slots do you have?
That clocks as a cantrip.
Oh, that's a cantrip. Okay, fine. So you're fine.
It is.
Oh, you can hurl fireballs until the cows come home. Then okay, good.
That's right.
No worries. Anything else from you on your turn?
I'll let out like a little bit of a and kind of start looking at what else I have on me. Like, let's see what. Oh, well, shit! I got more than I thought I did.
We're going back to the top of the initiative, but before we do, you hear all around you the stone and wood, the timber is all creaking and cracking. You see a wooden beam splinter, and the the whole ceiling near where you are begins to almost like sag. This room has not got long left. You are underneath potential catastrophe number 2.
I will call out, friends, I think we may need to take this outside.
Take it to the streets. We are back to the top of the initiative. Thorn, you have got one. Both zombies in melee range. One of them looks extremely not very well.
I will attack the one that seems the fittest.
The fittest. Okay, so that was the same one that you took a swing at last time. Give me the give me your attack roll.
I'm going to use my connected Morgenstar arm.
Okay, cool.
So that's a +5. It's a 15.
It's a hit.
Ooh, that'll hit.
And then it's 1d8 plus 3
Cool.
for the damage. But it's 10 damage.
And a 10. You guys are hitting some throwing potatoes here. Great. Both of them look extremely unsteady on their feet now. Any movement?
No, I want to do a bonus action. I want to use Second Wind.
Yeah.
I can use a bonus action to regain 1d10 plus 1 HP.
Great. Good for you. Do it.
That would be a good one.
I think I need this one plus 3, but plus 1. I think it is this one. 9.
Oh,
Very nice indeed. Can I just recap everyone's HP? Owl, you are on 7. Jeb, you're at full health, I believe.
Yes. 10 currently.
Okay, cool.
I'm on 11 now.
And you are on 11. Thank you. Okay. Great. Thank you very much indeed. So you are still in position in melee range with 2 not very well looking zombies. Owl, you are up.
The zombie I hit before, I'll try to do vicious mockery on it.
Vicious mockery, okay.
It again has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save.
And succeeding is 12. It has to be the 12.
15.
Okay, yeah, and that doesn't. That's my round. And I'll cast. As my bonus action, I'll do a Bardic Inspiration on Thorn.
On Thorn. Okay, cool. Thorn, you've got Bardic Inspiration, whenever you want to use that. And Greg says, I wonder what Owl's mockery would be. We'll have to wait to hear it, because he didn't get his...
Yep.
You go to mock them, and...
They'll pick your eyes out.
You go, okay, you go, I'll pick your eyes out, but they're zombies, so they don't care. They keep on coming. They're still right next to Thorn. They're going to take another swing. Zombie number 1 coming up. Our AC to beat is, I believe, a 16. 11. It's a miss. Zombie number 2. It's a 12. It's a miss. Thorn. No dice. These zombies are swinging wildly in the air, but they're getting nothing but air. Jeb, you're up.
Way to attack idiots. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. You know what? That firebolt, that worked real damn well. So how are they looking? The one that I hit first.
Both look very bad.
Both look real nasty, huh? All right then. I'm gonna again say, y'all, I think we may need to get out of here. I think we ought to do some skedaddling real soon, or this building's gonna do us in with the zombies. So I'm gonna kind of start. If I start toward the door, do I have a shot back at the zombies?
You could shoot first and then run.
Shoot first, ask questions later. All right, let's do that then. All right. Same one I went for last time. Same attack. So D20 plus 5. Hey, y'all.
It's a hit.
11.
11.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
And another D10. Let's go.
And a 6.
6.
That was you aimed that at the same one as last time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. You send a firebolt flying through the air. It smashes a zombie right in the face, and its head is engulfed in fire as it lets out a gut-wrenching, awful, dead scream. Ah! And drops dead, leaving one zombie left to manage. You anything? Oh, you're going to move then towards the door. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna move to the door, make sure it's clear for Owl and Thorn. But I'm at the same time, I'm like, come on, y'all, come on.
Yeah. You're about 20 feet from the door, so you can make it all the way there in your turn, and indeed go outside if you wish. Do you want to stay at the door or go fully?
I'll stay at the door, kind of. Sorry, I'm gonna stay at the door, kind of holding it open. Yeah, so I can clear the way.
We're back to the top of the initiative, but as before, this building is coming down. It shifts. You hear and see it move. And in fact, a section of wall collapses on top of the zombie that just died, extinguishing the flames around its head and burying it forever. It is a 2 feet away from Thorn and the other zombie that this happens. This lands right next to your feet, Thorn, on the ground. This building is coming down. Thorn, it's your turn.
I'm going to use my my arm again.
Yep.
Uh,
You're facing down one extremely not very well zombie.
oh,
You
that's
have
eight.
bardic inspiration. You have a bardic inspiration.
So what does it mean that I
That
have?
means that means you can have 1d6 and add that to your roll.
Yeah, but with a 3. Oh,
You have an
yeah,
8
I have
at
an
the
8.
moment.
Then that will be working probably because I think this is a miss, but
11 was hit. No.
yeah. So 1d6.
1d6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Right,
you can
so
add it to any
that's,
roll except for death saves and
13.
damage.
It's a hit, of course. Yes, give me the damage.
Yes.
1d8 plus 3. 4.
How do you want to do
Is it
this?
already dead?
Tell me.
Oh.
Tell me.
I'm-
Tell me what
Oh.
you do.
The words you love to hear from your DM.
Because it's like my arm extension, I will just, I don't know, like you swing like a softball bat kind of thing
Yeah.
right in his face.
Its grotesque, decaying skin offers no protection whatsoever to a metal arm, slugging it around the side of the face, and you basically demolish its head in one swipe. The zombie drops dead. You are not out of initiative. Do you want to use some movement?
I think we just run through the door.
You're 25 feet from the door.
I have 30 feet, so
You've got
that
30 feet
should
of
be-
movement. You want to bail out?
Yeah, definitely.
You bail out of the
Can I-
door.
Can I grab like all in between my running?
Can you do what? Sorry.
Can I grab all in between? Like,
Oh, grab
can I
him.
pass him and just drag him towards the door?
I feel like that would be a separate action, so I'm going to say that you dart in that direction. However, Owl is next in the initiative, and I'm guessing he's probably going to do something quite similar. Owl, is there any other business that you have in this room that you desperately want to accomplish?
I take a look around and start running for the door.
The three
Can
of
I
you.
use my action to give Jeb the final push? Thinking Thorn
Absolutely.
will run out
You
and
wanna,
I'll
like,
give
you-
Jeb the last push.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to make you do a roll for this thing. Thorn and Owl, you drop this zombie to its dead, twice dead state, and hearing the creaking all around you, bail towards the door, and you look, Owl, your head's on a swivel. You look back, and bricks are coming down behind you as you bail for the door. Owl, you spread your wings wide and take a running leap at Jeb and almost fly through him, tackling Jeb out of the door as Thorn runs out behind you. And as you land on the
Awesome.
dust outside, and Thorn runs out behind you, the rest of the Sacred Wildheart Hospital collapses completely. It crumbles into nothing more than a massive pile of rubble, sending up a new dust plume into the sky. You are out of initiative.
All right. Oh my goodness, are y'all all right? Oh,
Well,
good heavens.
I'm quite fine.
Thorn
That
just
was
like,
That was some good punching. I like it.
Jesus Christ.
I reckon it feels good to get some of the frustration of the day out on the head of an undead. I know it did whopping a potion at its dome. That was good. I'm feeling better already.
what next?
Let's
think we need-
let's track back.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
let's
1, 2,
go back to
3,
the house.
7. We got 10 potions. We can get them there. We got to hurry.
Yeah.
In the interest of time, I won't. There's no need to role play this. As you return back to Senator Pangborn's house, you open the door, and there is firstly some encouraging news. The house has begun to fill up a little bit. About 20 people that you never saw before are now here. And some of them have got blankets wrapped around them. Some of them have are injured. Some of them you can see the first thing you see is Gorham pulling a mattress of sorts across the room and throwing it on the floor and ushering someone onto it. Some people have very visible injuries, have already had their heads wrapped with bandages. Some of them are just kind of sitting down, propped up against the wall. It's a scene of some chaos, but there are survivors, and the doctor is still is up and about, tending to a nearby human, and Dr. Cobain looks up as the three of you set foot through the door, and he takes one look at your faces and goes, "Zombies!" and claps his hand to his mouth. He's like, "I am so sorry." He's like, "You made it though."
Doc, ain't
Yeah.
much you can do about that anyhow. It's all right. It's all right.
They're dead now.
Yeah, they're dead again. They done dead and re-dead, and we got the potions.
Oh, thank goodness. He looks at you and goes, "Oh, and you found my bag of holding. Fantastic, even better, please, if you don't mind." He reaches out his hand, trying to take the bag of holding from you.
Well, yes, sir. There's 7 of the potions, and I'll kind of reluctantly hand it over. I don't really want to, but it is his. And I'll say there's 7 in here, and I got 3 in my satchel, and I'll kind of open it up and let him have those too.
He takes the bag and puts it down next to him, and takes 2 of the ones from your satchel, and then points you toward, with the remaining one, points you to someone on the other side of the room, and is like, "Go and give it to them quickly."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and I'll run over there to him and start distributing.
Gorham is there, as I mentioned, trying to turn the senator's house basically into something of a makeshift hospital.
Gosh.
The senator is not there at the moment, nor is Juliana or Corbin. However, a moment later, you a woman who you've not met before walks in. She is tall with looks very well put together considering the circumstances. A little dust on her, but very little, which kind of makes you think she's probably not been outside for most of what's been going on. And she walks in, and right behind her is the senator, who is angrily shouting at her to say, in the name of Corbett, in the name of Corvus, Karamin, this is an emergency. I'm not asking you to give away your home. I'm asking you to open your door to those who are in need in this catastrophe. And she says, and I tell you, Julius, that I'm more than happy to open my door to those in need of a bed for the night for 20 gold a night. Gannon is there as well, by the way. Gannon is in the room with you.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Jeb at hearing this is gonna pipe up and say, "Ma'am, excuse me, what was your name?"
Keramin Bounders.
I'm amazed you can speak choking on that silver spoon of yours.
I don't know what that
people-
means.
Where do you... I'm not surprised by that either, to be quite honest with you. Where do you reckon these people going to find 30 gold a night? They just lost everything they had.
It's 20 gold per night. It's more than reasonable for the lodgings at my home. I have a right to be compensated. I have lost out in this catastrophe. My stables are completely destroyed.
Well, bless your heart.
Yes, what's the problem? Is it that your house is gonna be dirty? Because I can help with that.
It is purely a matter of principle, my whatever you are. And she goes, "What is your name anyway?"
I'm all right.
Well, there you go, and so am I.
No, you're not. You're a hack.
How dare you? Correct your tone towards me.
Thorn walks up to the lady and asks her where her house is.
When you walk up to a Thorn, can you give me a little more detail? Talk to me through your stance and like what's the approach like?
When I walk, I'm already big, but I try to
Remind
be
me
a
how
little bigger.
tall Thorn is.
I
I do know the answer. I just want you to say it.
6'7".
And so,
He
sorry
dwarfs
again.
me.
So you ask her where her house is. Give me an intimidation roll.
This is the shit I'm talking about right here. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
she kind of whips around to look at Thorn and lets out something of a squeak of fear, and she just sort of, all right, 10 gold a night.
I'm just
Lower.
asking where your house is, lady. Just answer me.
Go ahead, Al.
At that, I want to cast Vicious Mockery on her.
Okay, go ahead. So she needs to do a wisdom save, yeah?
Yeah, she needs to do a wisdom save.
With a DC of?
DC of 12. Okay, she hears in her voice the voices of dead people calling, "Do you call yourself a sound beholder?"
She is fucking terrified. She is like, Right. All right, Julius. I will house as many as four people for tonight. Julius Pangborn, who is the senator, walks over and sort of pats her on the cheek and goes, "That wasn't so hard, was it, Karamin?" She looks around the room and sees she has not very many friends in the building. She goes, "Yes, well, when you've decided who's to stay, then just send them round."
I reckon you got some beds to prepare, ma'am.
She looks back at Thorn and goes, "And I'm in the house next door, for your information. Not that it's any of your business."
I'll be helping to clean up after tonight.
She gives one last look at the room and storms out to go back home. While this is going on, Dr. Cobean and Gorham have been kind of going around with the potions, distributing those to anybody that needs them. The senator looks at the three of you and says, "Thank you. You have been a great help." He slumps down in a chair and begins to just weep. He looks up and is like, "What does it look like out there?
You best not think about it.
What's become of the hospital?"
You best not think about it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to rebuild.
It's just gone. You need to rebuild. Don't
Yeah.
weep. Go on.
Yeah, thing you need to focus on most right now, Mr. Senator, is taking care of these folks that are alive. This is a true blessing, and you can't be letting folks like her make decisions right now. You need to come from the heart. These people need help. You seem like a good man.
At you saying that, he just bursts into floods of tears.
And I'll put a shoulder on his back, kind of try to comfort him a little bit.
He is just like
Hand on his shoulder.
ugly crying, you know, like he is properly in just floods of tears. After a few seconds, he looks up and tears streaming down his face. He says, "We found as many survivors as we can. There may be more. I think we will not know until the dust settles more, but there's another problem. Our food stores have been obliterated. I have some, and of course I'll share it with everyone as much as I'm able to, but this will not last. Our farms have been destroyed. From what I gather, the strike was on the northwest side of town, where most of our farming is done. So whatever we have, that's what we're left with. And there's something else as well. We do not know how far this dust cloud reaches. We do not know whether this is an isolated incident. We must send word to other towns in the area to find out what the extent is, find out what's happened, and also to request aid."
Who's your closest contact and neighbor?
Well, the closest would be Midgin, which is not too far to the north. He looks around the room. He's like, "Anybody who is able to walk. We cannot send falcons. Our falcons have all been destroyed. We must send parties out to request aid and to tell them what has happened. I'm sure some will have seen something. People may already be on their way to us. There may already be aid on its way, but we cannot know that." A group of people, survivors, cross the room, those who are fit and able to, and they stand in your vicinity. there's a group now of 9 of you. And he looks at the at 3, which includes Corbin and Juliana and another person, and says, "You 3, you must make as much haste as you can to Ninespire, to our capital. They will be our best chance of getting significant aid and food stores here. It is a long journey. Go as quickly as you're able. Gather up whatever supplies you need and go. You 3," pointing to the next group, "I need you to head out of the east gate and go to Loom and see what aid they are able to provide. You 3," turning to the 3 of you, he says, "will you please go north? You have already shown some capability. This will take you right past the point of impact. I don't know what to expect there. Please go to Midgin and our nearest neighbours. Ask for anything that they can spare and bring them back with you."
What if
Yes, sir.
they are hit as well?
I don't even
Good
want
question.
to I don't even want to think about that. If this was a one-off incident, they should be safe. It is, after all, almost a day's walk to Midgin. I would hope they're safe at that distance. Judging
All right.
from the damage or lack thereof, he kind of glances sideways at Glengannon, of this side of town, I cannot imagine the blast has reached as far as Midgin. If there have been multiple attacks, then I do not know what any of you will find. But if they have suffered, if Midgin lies in ruins, you must bring that news to me as well.
I could
Yes, sir.
fly. I could fly around town to see what the damage looks like out of the sky.
He says,
Before we go.
"I thank you for your offer. We have enough people here to assess more damage and locate survivors. The more important, more pressing issue is that the 3 of you make with all haste to Midgin." So, Dr. Cobain, before you do anything, comes over, reaches into the bag of holding, and goes, "I believe we've stabilised everyone we're able to that we've found. I have some of these still spare. Take one each. The road may be perilous. We don't know what to expect." He thrusts a potion of healing into the hands of each of you.
That's very kind of you, Dr. Cobain. Could I ask a simple request?
You may.
On our trip we may encounter when we reach Midgin, we may be able to gather some more food and supplies, but it'd sure be helpful to have that bag of yours, if you don't mind parting with it. Take good care of it, but I'd sure like to have that to bring some stuff back with us.
He looks down at his bag and is like, "I may yet need it here. Give me persuasion
Thank you.
with advantage."
Oh, very nice. Okay. And I don't have any bonuses to this. Here we go.
One of them's a nat 20. Looks
Oh
like,
my God. Okay. All right. Thank you, dice.
is that your 3rd nat 20 of the game? And there haven't been that many
Buddy,
rolls.
I'm burning them up tonight.
Oh, I don't hope so.
He looks down and goes, "I may yet need this bag, but perhaps you're right. Senator, what do you think?" Julius is like, "I believe we can manage, Doctor. You know, we can. Oakenford isn't so big that we can't transport things across town relatively easily. Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, very well then. He pulls out all the rest of the. He pulls out 3 more potions. He's used 4 of them. Given 3 to you. He pulls out the final 3. He reaches in and pulls out a couple of sundries of his own, you know, a book that he's been reading, you know, pulls that out and goes, I'm not giving you this, I really wanted to finish this. But
Sports Illustrated.
He hands you an empty bag of holding.
All right. I'm much obliged to you, Doctor. We'll make sure this gets back to you safely and soundly. Thank you.
The senator is kind of... He doesn't mind this conversation having happened, but you can see he's looking agitated. He's like, I'm sorry. I must stress, all of you, please, go with all haste.
We'll head on if we're ready. Thorn, all right? Y'all ready to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Just as you're leaving, Xavier Tinflint, the smith, who's been sitting up in a chair, kind of taking this all in, watching it unfold, you see that he's got a kind of bandage wrapped around his head, covering one eye. He goes, he goes, 2 things. Did you find Adam?
No.
Pip takes his hat off, kind of holds it in front of him, looks down.
Oh, God.
We only found his wooden stake.
Crutch. His crutch.
I did look for him, but I couldn't find him.
All right. Well, if his parents have survived, I will shoulder the burden of letting them know. If you do make it to Midgin, speak with my brother. He's a smith as well. He lives in Midgin. His name is Pickwick. Find him. I hope to Corvus he's all right. And let him know that I live.
We will pass that along.
Cool. As you head out the door, you make your way through the ruins of what until very recently was Oakenford Crossroads. The dust is beginning to clear. You can now see shapes 40, 50, maybe 50 feet away with increasing clarity. The other 2 parties set off, one group heading south towards Ninespire, the other group heading east towards Loom. The east gate that Thorn came through only about 2.5 hours ago is just about standing, but the wall north of it has completely vanished. The scene as you make your way through town is eerie. Piles of rubble. You do see bodies, some buried with parts just jutting out, some bodies that are just laying on the ground. But the thing that's really apparent is the silence. It's a dead, flat calm. As you make your way through, frankly, a quite large number of bodies, Owl, you begin to hear voices. What happened? Where am I? Tell me. Did I die? Is anyone there?
instead of answering the voices, I'll just hear them out, but won't talk to them.
You just hear a lot of variations on that. People in confusion and despair. I need to find my father. Where is my wife? Run! Run! How do you deal with hearing dozens of voices all at once in your mind? They're talking over each other. It's just a mess of noise in there.
He'll hear them all.
He's hearing them all.
He'll try to bunker down, try to remain firm as he was hearing the voices at a young age, and try to keep that hidden from his parents. So he's again trying to get into that zone of trying to keep it hidden from the people with him.
Mm.
In fear of having other people say, you might need an exorcism, we have to get rid of these voices. And he finds a solace in closing himself off in that.
You make your way through what used to be the market square. Any canvas, there's like loads of tattered canvas strewn everywhere. There's wooden beams that were previously supports everywhere. On the north side of town, you see the devastated remains of Griffin Keep, the fort. There are no signs of life anywhere on this side of town. And on your left, as you're heading up north towards the edge of Oakenford, you arrive at the edge of a crater. And in the center, you can just about make out the shadowy shape of an enormous piece of rock that has crashed and smashed into the ground in the center of this crater. Everybody give me a perception roll. Probably be the last one today.
All right.
The last perception roll.
Well,
The final perception. Come on, baby.
Peering through the dust, Thorn, you squint as you notice something on the side of the rock, but it's difficult to make out from the distance that you're at.
So, what does it look like? What's the something like?
You
What
can make
do I
out some kind of faint red light that is very close to where the meteorite is. It appears to be on the side of the rock itself, actually.
I will point towards it and ask the others what they think about it.
After you point it out, Owl and Jeb, you previously weren't really able to see anything through the dust, but being pointed out by Thorn, you can see something. There is a light there or something. But it's just impossible to see at this range what it is.
What is that? Do you see that too? giving off some
Yeah.
kind of light?
Yeah, it's softly glowing, but I'm not sure if we need to get close by.
I'm not sure either. Maybe we should just go to Mijin and then.
We get back, the dust will have settled a bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
but we should be watching our backs as well.
I agree.
Fair point. And I'll go turning around again.
So you're going to continue heading north. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I guess we need to.
head north towards what used to be the edge of Oakenford.
Yeah.
Just as you step outside the boundary, you see lying on the road one more body lying face down in the dirt, clearly devoid of life. In their hand, they are still gripping the chain. 2 seconds, I've got a notification. Gravitas. Holy
Hey,
shit, man.
nice one.
It has been a long time, man. I will talk to you very shortly. You seem still gripping the chain of an amulet. And there's something else as well. With their other hand, their index finger is outstretched. You can see a trail where it looks like they've almost been pulling themselves along in the dirt as well. You know, like behind their legs, where they sort of dragged themselves along the ground. And they, with their right hand, they grasp this amulet chain. And on their left hand, their finger is outstretched, and it sits at the end of a message written in the dirt that simply says, "Find Great Wolf."
Right. Great wolf.
Hmm.
The amulet the person is holding.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize it? Is it still religious item?
Give me a religion check. Why not?
Was it
Yeah.
Grey or Great Wolf?
Great. Great, as
Great.
in fantastic or large.
Yeah, that's a different
Nice.
thing than Grey.
On a 5, you can plainly see that this amulet has a symbol, a red symbol etched into it, like a rune. But it's not something you recognize.
Should we take the amulet?
Is the amulet like shiny? Does it like look very expensive?
It looks kind of basic, actually. It's made of metal, but just like steel, or you know, it's made of steel with a red rune etched into the front of it.
Do I recognize the rune?
Does
Like I'm
anybody?
thinking that
Does anyone?
I have some Arcana.
Sorry.
I have Arcana, so I can recall lore about spells, magical items, planes of existence. So I'm wondering if I would maybe recognize the rune.
If you want to give me an Arcana check on the amulet, please do.
Okay, I would gladly. On dice. Oh my god. Okay, 7.
Even on a 7, you are able to tell this amulet does have some kind of magical properties. The rune is faintly glowing,
Okay.
but you have no idea what properties those may be.
All right.
Well, I'm still. I still want to maybe take the amulet with us.
I think that'd be wise.
And I'll try. I hear Jeb saying, I think that will be wise. Then I'll try to get the amulet out of the hand.
Yeah. You pick up the amulet, and there's no reaction. You pick it up and can put it in your pocket or whatever you want to do.
Does Great Wolf mean anything to y'all? Is that a person? Is that a thing?
Does anyone have history proficiency?
No.
I have.
You do?
Yeah.
Then Al, you can roll for that.
It's plus 3. 15.
Great Wolf is something that through the years has meant multiple things. The only you remember hearing in your youth of a literal great wolf, which was a fearsome beast that became known as the Great Wolf. It was said to roam around the southern edge of the Forest of Taran, which is some way north of Midgin. Anything else you want to do with this body, message, amulet, anything?
I think Jeb would roll it over and pull it out of the road and kind of, fold its hands across its chest. If it had a weapon, I would kind of lay it, sort of a Boromir, sort of like lay it in kind of a honored, take appraisal of see if I recognize him, see if his armor or what he's wearing kind of will tell any more about them as a person, but kind of just like give them a proper place of rest, or at least a temporary place of rest, so they're not just like laying face down in the middle of the road. You know what I mean?
I think, Jeb, you've been to Oakenford a number of times. You know a fair few people there. This isn't someone you remember ever meeting before, but that's not to say they're not from here or like anything untoward. It's just one of the people you've never come into contact with. But sure,
okay.
You can they have a dagger that you can lay across them, lay on their chest, and move them to be in a more dignified pose, perhaps.
Yeah, so I just kind of place that, and put their arms and kind of hand on their hands and kind of a hand on their head, and just almost like a little moment of just like, I'm sorry, friend. It's a shame this happened.
Thorn will wipe out the message in the dirt with his feet.
Cool. Great. Anything else?
I think after doing that, I would stand up and kind of dust myself off and kind of wipe my eyes, because like you said, like I've thought about this the whole time. Like I imagine Jeb would be a little bit of a mess. Like he's been here many, many years and has known, and I imagine this is a place familiar to him. To see it like this would probably be pretty devastating. So,
sure.
I think he would kind of gather himself and be like, I think we all get to Midgin. I think we need to get on the road, y'all.
Here's a question for Owl and Thorn, who were both visiting Oakenford for the first time. Do either of you think this might be something to do with you? Like your
No.
presence in Oakenford coincided, Thorn, in your case, about an hour after you arrived, with a meteorite strike. Do either of you think this is anything to do with you?
No, I don't think that thing is like human made. So, and I don't believe in fate, so I don't think it has something to do with me.
Al?
I think Al would be very. He's still busy with the voices he hears and trying to shut them out. But maybe, just maybe, a tiny little voice in the back of his head, put there by how his father said he was gonna do an exorcism and all. Maybe a little tiny voice says it's makes him give mixed feelings about
What, that
his
maybe
action.
that maybe this is your dad's extremely dramatic version of an exorcism?
Maybe. or maybe the voices are having the bad influence
Oh, I see.
on him, because he's still trying to figure out how he hears those voices and what he should do with it.
Sure. Fine. Well, with these thoughts and more rattling around in your heads, the three of you have a job to do, and you set off on the North Road towards Midgin, leaving behind you the utter devastation of Oakenford and who knows what else. And I think there, friends, is where we will leave today's session.
Ooh. Boy, oh boy, what a start.
There you go.